Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Flashing red lights, driving at night, windowless ride, feeling alive. Nothing in sight, forever in flight. Follow those lines, we'll make it this time. Blurry street lights, work as a guide to memories that we'll make it tonight. Oh yeah, we'll make it tonight. Yeah. I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore. So just don't be ignored. Go ask for more. Go ask for more. Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? I'm in a race and everybody's chasing fast. They wanna be that someone on the screen at last. They ain't looking inside for their needs in life. They wanna be like by everybody in sight. But trust me, being free ain't spotlights. No, it's long nights and it's long fights with yourself all the time to get your mind right. But if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright? I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore. So just don't be ignored. Go ask for more. Go ask for more.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite podcast, the H-Cast, episode number 84. We are slamming these out for you. Hope you're having a great week. It's in its infancy. We are but a Tuesday. But of course, Tuesday brings the H-Cast back for you all. Like I said, I do hope you're having a fantastic week. Getting kind of just into the Christmas vibe, maybe, perhaps. Are you? Maybe. We've got some great stuff to chat to you about today. Godzilla -1, great box office numbers. We'll go into exactly why it's great box office numbers. We got some Gray saying some dumb shit about Godzilla -1. Fantastic stuff. You're going to love it. We've got Marvels. We've got Nightcrawler. Loads of stuff. And also stuff which you don't know about. Well, you would if you watched my video earlier. And that's if YouTube notified you. But I have the full plot breakdown of The Crow. This is the brand new Crow film. Exactly the same, exactly the same kind of, I'm trying to choose my words carefully now. Trusted sources, there you go, provided me with this. Fantastic, highly reliable. We'll see what you think. I'm still umming and ahhing about it. We see Tom there with his Christmas hat on. I'll be intrigued to see what you think about The Crow. Are you?
I'm actually wearing my Crow shirt today.
Was just coincidence? Or did you put it on specifically?
So. No,
fucking hell! Right, anyway, there you go. We got a good podcast for you guys.
That's Brandon telling us something.
It's interesting. We'll get to it. It's going to be interesting. But ladies and gents in the chat, please do let me know where you are from, where you're tuning in from to watch your favorite podcast. Always curious to hear that. A few things to get out of the way. Support the show. We're heavy demonetization here on this podcast, so please do send in super chats. It helps keep the lights on and it helps you engage with us. We will read out your super chat. So it can be anything. You could be professing your love to Tom. Anyone out there loves Tom?
Everybody
Profess your love
loves
to
Tom. Everybody loves Tom.
Yeah, I'm in a non-platonic fashion. Profess your love to Tom.
Ooh.
You profess your love to me. That's fine as well. Just do it with a super chat. Because of the YouTube demonetization.
You want my love, you pay for it.
Bit of prostitution going on right there. But anyway.
Can buy me love.
But anyway, ladies and gents, kickstart the show. We've got our fantastic panel, Culture and Tom. How you both doing?
I'm extraordinary. I've had a wonderful weekend. I had lots of fun assembling the clips for today. I'm working on the last one right now. So, but we've got a glorious show planned, and he's not wrong. We get demonetized almost immediately when Tom comes on screen, which means we're already probably demonetized. So, if you want to be if you want to be part of the clip, super chat, and there's a decent chance because I know Nate's been doing a lot of clips lately. You'll be part of a clip.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Although I will say this, I am very much behind on uploading the full streams. I'm going to do them as a whole block. There'll be like 10 that will just go up.
Oh no! People will be like,
"No, I know. I am. It's real bad. I need to get on it and do it." But I've been super busy doing my master's degree this weekend, so I've not really had a chance to get on and do it basically. And I've had to do a précis.
Oh.
If anyone knows what that is, it's like a critical appraisal. Interesting stuff. So we're steamrolling ahead. How are you, Tom? What's new with you, bro?
Not much. How you guys doing? I'm doing all right.
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. We've got some parts of the UK have got snow. The rest is just wet and rainy. Aside from that, yeah, not bad. Just sort of plodding along, really. Brutal drive back. I was going to do a stream on Sunday. No fucking word of a lie. It took me 1 hour and 40 minutes to drive how far? How far do you reckon, ladies and gents? 1 hour, 40 minutes?
60 kilometers.
Normally you'd get like 60 kilometers, something like that. I don't know what a kilometer is, but
you'd get more than 60 kilometers.
At least twice that, almost, yeah.
At least twice that. Well, 100. Well, yeah. Well, okay.
I'm
kind of going off of miles. I know kilometers are similar, but not exactly.
Yeah, you measure weird stuff.
So for 100 kilometers, it's 60 miles.
Okay.
All right.
Well, so I'm going to say 100 kilometers.
Oh, you think I went 60 miles?
Yeah.
Very, very bashful of you there, Culture.
Well, I mean, you just described a horrific drive.
Hour and 40 minutes. 60 miles. Hour and 40 minutes. You think I went 60 miles?
I think that you had a bad drive. What do you think?
Well, I'd have to say at least 30 because otherwise you'd probably just walk. You'd be able to walk that in an hour 40.
I wish.
Someone like as fast as you probably.
6 miles, mate.
How the hell did that happen? You could have walked faster than that.
6 miles. 6 miles took me hour and 40 minutes. Yeah, all jokes aside, brutal drive home from London Sunday night. I was not.
What the hell happened?
Honestly, no idea. I have absolutely no idea. There never seems to be a reason for it either. That no accidents, just traffic. But it's like bumper to bumper, and you're just like an inch and another inch. And then another, I'm just like, oh my God. It was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. Sucked massive peen.
That sounds like you need like a stoplight or something, yeah.
Oh God. It wasn't even that. It's just brutal.
See, here in the US, they just put a roundabout in and make it worse.
Yeah. Well, I think, I think the thing is, I think it was Christmas traffic that's the only thing I can think it is. Christmas traffic, maybe. Because normally like it's a breezy, I don't know, 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30 minutes. Over 3 hours it took me to drive home. It's 100 miles. It shouldn't take me over 3 hours to drive 100 miles. Fucking absolute joke. Anyway.
That's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. That was my brutal weekend. and I've been recovering ever since because it really wrecks you.
I'd buy a
Absolutely
bike at some point. I'd be just like, fuck it, I can just.
Yeah, so I thought about getting a motorbike, but because the
But not even a
weather's
motorbike, just
so-
a regular bike, so you could just go over all kinds of terrain and just get the hell out of a situation like that. But yeah, a
I can't.
motorbike would be nice. But yeah,
I'm not gonna bicycle 100 miles, Tom.
no, you said 6 miles. 6 miles. Okay, so
Oh yeah, but that was on my journey home.
well, you just bypass that point. You park your car 6 miles.
Yeah, it's true. Wise
You'll
thinking,
get
wise
home
thinking.
sooner.
Yeah, wise
I know
thinking,
you have
wise
it.
thinking.
I know you have a truck. Just put the bike in the back of the truck, and then get to the.
I'm just fucking with it. I realize he's got a long ways to go. It's just
Anyway, well, we got some super chats to drop in before we get started on our action-packed podcast for you all. We got one from Miranda Sinistra for $25. Thank you so much. It says, felt bad for letting down the Marvels since I'm part of the majority of women who didn't go to see it. I decided to punish myself.
it's all your fault.
By watching Godzilla -1 instead.
It's a good punishment.
That is a punishment. That is some good sadism right there. Self-sadism. Good. I like it. Thank you so much. And we'll be getting on to some Godzilla -1 stuff in a
The
minute.
god of Zilla smiles on you for that.
Accent Seller for 50 Norwegian kroner says Doctor Who from 1963 to 2022 or 2022. Sorry, the TARDIS is smaller on the outside of Doctor Who in 2023. The Doctor's anus is now big. Oh my god! They call me Wetting Pants. Sent in $10. Says hack the planet from paradise. What's this?
Well, hack the planets from hackers.
Yeah,
hack the planet from paradise.
Hack the planet.
I don't know about from paradise. From paradise is like Paradise some game company or something, or
I have no idea.
I don't get the reference on that part.
Side note, just real quick before we get started on our main topics. Do you remember, and you in the chat can chime in on this as well. Do you guys remember they've been making a massive deal out of this goddamn Avatar game, saying it's the best thing ever. The graphics are going to be unbelievable. It's so good. We're expanding it. It's going to be this huge game.
I remember hearing something about it. Yeah.
Have you seen the trailer for it? It looks.
I saw some
woeful.
images. Yeah,
mate. It is terrible. It's so bad. It's genuinely
almost as bad as that Kong game that came out here.
Yeah. For a game that is obviously going to be. I mean, look, it's a game adaptation of something which prides itself on how good the visual effects are. You would think,
right?
You would think that the game itself would be looking, bloody good going as well. And the stills that they released are nothing like the trailer. Like, so they released some stills. Here you go.
So yeah, I haven't actually seen the trailer. I've seen some of the stills. Yeah, and those look bad enough.
Those
look like PS2, PS3 level. Yeah. Okay, I'll give a PS3 level, but yeah.
Look at this.
I was actually griping about this not even a half hour ago online. In conjunction with the GTA 6. I don't know if we're going to get on that, so I can save it for that, but yeah.
Look at that, guys. That's bad,
that doesn't look very good at all.
Oh, piss off.
No, 20 years ago that it looked good. Excuse me, 20 years ago that it looked good.
Exactly.
Well, and this is the point I was going to get to because I didn't want to get too deep into it if we're going to talk about GTA, but that was my complaint about GTA. I'm like, look, all the politics crap that could possibly ruin this game aside, they showed me nothing in that trailer that made me go, oh, wow. Because we've had zero innovation in the last 10, 15 years in games when it comes to visuals and gameplay, really.
See, all of it.
The cutscenes look okay. Yeah. But that's just like
the game.
A low res, yeah.
So, cutscene, game.
Well, I just say it because I've been getting a lot of people who are picking on me for not thinking GTA 6 looks all that great.
Look at this.
Yeah, this is some PS3 level shit.
That's like, I mean, let's give it 4K, but it's still not. It's still not
Well, it's not going to
good.
come through for us. It doesn't. Well, it doesn't matter if you don't have the resolution to begin with. It was kind of like when I was griping about the RoboCop game. People were giving me shit. It's like, look, I wouldn't care if they were only charging $20-$40. They're charging
Now, this
full
is gonna be like
price game
70.
for.
This is
Yeah,
70
that's the
bucks.
thing. When I pay that much for a
Anyway,
game, I expect, state of the art, top of the line, pushing the graphics to the point where you can. Because that's the other thing I was griping about is we were promised Toy Story style graphics by the time we got to PS3. They came through with that. I will give them credit. They came through with that. No matter what it cost them, they managed to do it. But we were also promised photorealistic graphics by now. We're not quite there yet. We've reached this point and it just hasn't progressed. I don't know what it is that's holding it back.
Didn't the Resident Evil remakes do photorealism? I
don't know. I haven't seen them, but even this GTA 6 trailer did not impress me none. And a lot of that's cutscenes too.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, honestly, I thought it was hilarious that for Avatar they made this big song and dance about this.
Yeah, but back to Avatar. Sorry,
huge thing. It's this massive. Oh, it's so good. We pride ourselves on visual effects. We got to wait so we can make the films for you guys, so the technology catches up. And then they just release something that's like a reject from PS3 days. You're like, what the fuck? Bizarre.
Well,
Bizarre.
and again, it's a price point that really bothers me too, and all that kind of stuff. Go ahead, Culture.
Again, we have higher expectations, and I'm going to say it this way: a lot of games now are tuned for consoles. And then you have games that are tuned for phones. And when you look at something like this Avatar game, it looks like it's tuned for a phone, right? Some like, I'm like, that might look good on a phone. It looks like jack crap on a freaking computer. I mean, I have a monstrous machine here. I can run everything at full pace, a full frame set, all the entire 50 inches of this widescreen monitor, and it won't miss a frame. And it's like waiting for more.
Just nice flex there, mate.
Yeah, well, monstrous GTX card, but that's not the point.
No, but
the point is, I should be able to like see the flex in somebody's, eyeball. I should be able to watch their heartbeat in the veins. And so when I'm looking at games like this, I'm going, just like Tom, I'm expecting more. I'm expecting I expected a massive jump from GTA 5 to GTA 6 as far as the character modeling, the gameplay, the physics, all of it. I expected a massive.
It doesn't even look far off Grand Theft Auto 4.
That's my point. That's my point. And that's why I invoked it here, is because same kind of thing. Like you just said, Nate, when you think of Avatar, you think of state-of-the-art special effects, all that kind of business. So you would expect the same kind of thing out of the game. Right. And that's why I invoked, GTA 6, because I'm getting the same kind of vibe. Culture's 100% right. My mind was blown when I stuck in GTA 4 for the first time.
Yeah.
I was like, holy hell. I was like, how did they manage to do this? This is like, and now we've been playing that same game now for the last, 15 years?
Yeah. Well,
so that's what GTA 5 is the same fucking thing.
10 years old.
It's the same game. It's the only difference is it's a different place, different characters. It's the same gameplay. In fact, there was things you could do in GTA 4 you can't do in GTA 5. Then I'm like, well, that sucks. The sad part is they haven't had any innovation really since San Andreas and GTA 4. Those are the last two games they actually had any real innovation in this franchise, and it's the same kind of thing here. They have not spent the time, and I don't know if it's like we're heading towards an idiocracy or what, where these people just don't know how to do this stuff anymore, forgot how to do it, or they're just not given enough time and you don't have enough people or enough resources, or what the issue is.
Well, they said this about things like YouTube, right? So YouTube, when it was created, and it sort of reached a peak, right? So you could do video responses to people, video replies, all this kind of thing, which actually spawned a pretty good natural growth of the platform, which made it a success. And they say this about YouTube, is that then obviously it became successful. And the people that work for YouTube now, same as Twitter, they're not innovators. They just remove stuff. They clamp down on things. The only things that have happened to YouTube since it, became the sort of big behemoth that Google owned and all this kind of thing was the removal of things, removal of the like thing, suppression of the algorithm that suppressed natural growth of, things. Video replies are gone. All these things is the same with Twitter. Yeah, suppression. Yeah, we're going to remove this. We're going to do that. It's all removal. There's no innovation anymore. It's the same thing. They don't innovate. They're not creators. They just take away stuff. Control. That's all it is. But anyway, thought I'd cover that before we get started.
Yeah,
Real quick.
sorry, I didn't mean to drag in all that other stuff, but yeah.
No, it's all right. Many Dragon. Been a member
Many
for 1
Dragon.
month. Become a member, ladies and gents. But who's going to be our first member of the podcast? We'll give you a big shout out. What I don't like about modern games is that most games can't be played unless you are online. Yeah, that pisses me off as well. And most games are not finished and need updates.
Yes.
Yes. As in, like, what, the day one patch that's just a meme now? Yeah, brutal. Absolutely brutal. But look, something that isn't brutal, we're going to just kick straight off with our first topic. Love that. Love that. Love that. So what's happened? Well, Godzilla Minus One has absolutely smashed the box office, and it has. So we're going to get into some math a little bit later, but just for context, this movie had already passed $15 million domestically in Japan. Sorry, I said Japanese domestic. And then it's come over here with a very, very incredibly limited release, like 2,000 odd theaters. Where they've just now extended the theatrical run in the States as well, because it is doing so successful.
Yep.
And it's done really well. It came in third place, only behind Hunger Games and Beyonce. Beyonce did double its numbers, did like $22 million for the weekend. This film's smashing it. It is the highest grossing live action Japanese film of all time. Or debut. Debut.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking amazing, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It is also, for this year, it is the biggest debut of a 2023 foreign language movie.
Wow.
So biggest debut of a live action Japanese film and the biggest debut of the entire globe domestically in the States of a foreign language movie. It's done incredibly well. Incredibly well. And there's also some other numbers from exhibitor relations. So $1 million Club Monday was only Godzilla Minus One and only Hunger Games. The Beyonce film, as far as I can, do numbers wise, didn't cross $1 million either. So this film is just snowballing. Also, just as an FYI, whoever did this article is a tard. This is Shin Godzilla. A bit annoying that they did that, but never mind. This film is incredible.
Yeah,
$15 million budget, and people are like, it's not embarrassing Hollywood because it's not done $100 million. Shut up, you moron. You don't understand. It's got 2,000 theaters, and it's a $15 million budget. Grossed currently worldwide is $34.5 million, and it is going to go on and on and on. And on and on and on and on. Now, how this embarrasses Hollywood is from so many metrics. You look at any Hollywood film that is released this year, they will not have as stronger universal reviews from both critics, both audiences. That's a guarantee, right? That embarrasses Hollywood to its very core. Secondly, it embarrasses Hollywood because it goes to show what we can actually do with a small budget. Whereas Hollywood, $15 million is literally their catering. So it's a farce. It highlights how much of a farce and a wash of cash Hollywood truly is, lining the pockets of fuckwad producers that don't deserve any money, and they just rinse in people, just rinse. It's a behemoth. It's absolutely killing it, and I love it, and I'm here for it. And I've ranted a lot. What do you guys think?
Go ahead, Culture.
Go ahead, Tom. No, please.
What I really loved, before we get into other stuff that stupid people said, you look at the box office, and even though this kind of leads into that, the top films of the weekend was just amazing to see. I'm gonna bring it up here for you so I can share it on the screen. Because there's a lot to be seen here, considering Hollywood and where they're at right now. Because I got two points there circled big time. And there's a few others I could have circled too. This patch right down here. See, you can see my little cursor down there. The Animal, The Shift, and Silent Night. Now, what do Silent Night, The Shift, Animal, Godzilla -1, and Renaissance all have in common? Can you guys tell me?
Well, they're indie distributors.
Exactly.
Indie
They're not Hollywood shit. And look where the
Mm.
Marvels is. Clear the fuck down here at number 11.
Out of the top 10.
So, well, actually, hilariously, just as an interject real briefly, what the Marvels did across the entire weekend is what Godzilla -1 did just on Monday. Fucking Monday. So
Wow.
that goes to show, does it not? How
Yeah.
hilarious that is. Just to add to your point there, Tom. Sorry. Keep going, mate.
Yeah, and the big thing here is look at the average per screen, and an animal should be another one I should have circled there.
Yeah, well, that one came out of India. Then that's an Indian film.
Yeah. And because look at that screen average, that means these movies are barely in a couple 100,000 or a couple thousand theaters, only a couple hundred for Animal.
Yeah.
And in this case, they're outranking and raking in a hell of a lot more money than Hunger Games, Trolls, Wish. Shit. Beyonce outgrossed Hunger Games, Trolls, Wish, and Napoleon all put together in theaters per average.
Yeah. Yeah.
Godzilla -1, basically the same thing with Trolls and Wish.
Yeah.
You put those two together.
Well, and Tom, to add to your point, Godzilla -1 started at 1,903 or 4 screens total when it got started through the weekend, and they just added those theaters, didn't they, to get it to 2,300?
I'm not sure on that, but like I know Godzilla added a lot because I know I don't remember what their starting was, but I think it was like 15 something.
That was
And
for
yeah.
that special fan event thing. But when they
Okay, so
got
then the next day, then it was like,
1,900.
they started adding more and more and more and more to the point where even some smaller theaters in my area was getting it, and some other people were reporting the same thing. So
Well, now they've extended their box office run as well.
I am not surprised. We were just talking about that yesterday because I think they have up until the end of the year that they can keep this movie in theaters for.
Very last day, December 31st. Yep.
Yeah, well, they've only extended it to December 14th now, but we may see that continue.
Well, it was initially going to be out by Thursday, so
yeah,
it needs another weekend because word of mouth on this film is cooking. So
massive word of mouth, huge word of mouth.
And you have a famous person that is supposed to be good at movie math that is just making a fool of it.
I'm
sure. Yeah.
No, but good for Godzilla, and even Beyonce isn't nothing to sneeze at because she opened in a lot less theaters than Taylor Swift did, and I know some people are saying, well, it wasn't as big. No, I'm like, well, sure, she didn't do nearly as well, but she also had well over 1,000 less theaters than Taylor Swift did too.
Well, I think I think the great thing about this, and I said this before, I think I'd even said this here when we were talking about it initially, was that Legendary Toho was really smart about this. They allowed Legendary to just keep pushing on with Godzilla. They were always able to make a film. They could make a film whenever they wanted. They were happy to do it. They could do it whenever they wanted. But they chose, I think, tactically, to get Legendary to keep. And it's not to say that Godzilla wasn't in the public eye, but is it now in the public eye even more because of Legendary? Yeah, demonstrably so. Of course it is. And so they allowed them to build it, get the SEO higher on online and things like this, and then boom, come out with Godzilla -1. Very smart, because they're literally letting Legendary advertise for them in that in that moment.
And this is basically coming off of the highest grossing Godzilla movie ever with Godzilla versus Kong.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. It's so good. So happy to see it. I get to see this movie Monday. Oh, yeah.
Finally.
So, yeah. So it's out. It's out like the 15th or the 16th here in the UK. And I was searching around for it. And when they weren't coming up before, these showings. And I Googled it again, just Godzilla -1, and it comes up with like near me, etc. Cineworld. And it was showing the 11th. And I was like, why is it showing the 11th? So I clicked on it. And what Cineworld does, which is part of Regent, or Cineworld owns Regent in the States, basically. It is Regent Cinemas, isn't it, in the States? Yeah? Culture? Tom? Is it Regent Cinemas in the States?
For
I don't know
who?
if there's still any more regions left or not. I think
the
that
world?
Well, anyway, Cineworld does own. I'm just asking:
there might be
is there
some
a
regions, but
brand?
there's
Yes,
not.
there are still some regions.
Jesus,
A
right?
lot of them
Cineworld
closed.
owns them.
A lot of them closed.
Cineworld owns them,
Yeah.
or did anyway. Point is, Cineworld's in the UK. God, wake up! Fucking hell's gross.
I'm like going, what is he asking? So no, it's fine.
Well, I'm asking you. Anyway, so Cineworld is the UK part of that.
Yeah.
And they do this like monthly membership, and you can put your name down for advanced screenings.
Yeah.
So there's an advanced screening of Godzilla -1 days ahead. So I was like, right, boom, I'm paying for this monthly membership. Oh, it's Regal, not Regent. Sorry,
Is
it's
it, oh,
Regal.
Regal.
Cinemas.
Yeah. Thank you, Graham. Thank you.
Cineworld owns them, and so literally, I'm paying for this monthly membership thing just so I can go and watch Godzilla -1. Because it's like that's 100% worth it to me.
It
be able to
will
watch
be.
before.
You're gonna lose
Yeah,
your mind,
I'll
dude. And then you're gonna
absolutely.
then you'll be more mad at Tom and I.
Why would I be more mad at you guys? I'll be
Well,
less
because you
mad.
were mad we got to see it already. You were really grumpy.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll be joining the club. I won't be mad at all.
All right. Okay. All right.
Yeah, all will be forgiven. All will be forgiven.
He'll want to talk about it. And we'll be like, dude, that was like 2 weeks ago.
No,
Yeah.
I will still talk about this film. I'm going to see it again this weekend.
I'm
So.
kidding. Yeah.
Oh, dear. Right. Well, anyway, I thought we'd cover Godzilla's stomping of Hollywood. Do we think they'll learn from this, though? That's the real question, isn't it?
No.
And I'm
Hollywood-
glad you said it like Grace, because that's
No. Look, Hollywood always takes the wrong lesson from everything. So
It's true.
the wrong lesson.
What lesson do we think they'll take from this then?
Oh, we need to do more foreign language films. We need
that in concert movies. They're actually probably paying more attention to Beyonce than they are Godzilla right now. That's the problem.
True, yeah. We need
That's
to make
true.
more. We need to make more fake concert movies. So
Ugh.
Because again, like I said, sure, Beyonce didn't do as well as Taylor, but you give her the same amount of theaters that Taylor had, I bet you that box office goes up a little bit more. And considering those, concert films are pretty much prepaid for, right? Like, I mean, they're just money in Beyonce's. It's just money in Beyonce's pocket right now, just like it was for Taylor Swift. And the theaters, they benefit greatly from these, so because it's a deal made with them. So there's no studio middleman here getting, and that's what's going to piss off the studios, right? That's the part that makes them mad. Godzilla doing 10, 11 million dollars, they ain't going to worry about that. They're going to worry more about Beyonce and Taylor Swift.
True. Oh, right. Well, I'm just trying to change my avatar to something that you'd find a bit funny.
Oh,
I got one.
That's my that was on my pickled Snoke design.
no.
If anyone remembers that.
Oh no.
I thought I'd do some pickled Snokes. Right, let's get to some super chats real quick before we shuffle on, guys. So you want to support the show? Super chats are the way to do it. Fucking hell, Tom, you can give me a heart attack. John Sullivan has been a member for 19 months. Thank you so much, chap.
Good on you.
We've got Black Saber sending in $5. Says this movie was so good. After I saw the new Kong trailer, it just looked like a joke compared to -1. I asked myself, well, why did I think those were good? We're going to get to that. So park that thought, guys. We will get to that trailer. Accident Seller for 50 Norwegian kroner says, Ari Godzilla, the hacker chick in Monarch is unbearable. She just complains and acts berating and sassy. And the Japanese kid is a bit of a weak cuck. Have you guys watched Monarch? Legacy of Monarch?
Not yet. I want to, but I've been hearing mixed stuff on it.
I've been waiting for it to finish so I can binge it.
Right. So I'm the only one that's watched this. I agree that the hacker, so it's played by Kersey Clemens. She's the most insufferable bitch in this. And for no reason at this point in time. Like, it's just that's the archetype they gave her. I don't understand why. Like, I put up with her for the first 3 episodes, but episode 4 was just focused on her and the Japanese kid, Kentaro, and it was just fucking dull. It was full blown dull. So like I put up with it for I was like, that's fine, because the rest of it's really good. I don't mind that. She's a bit of a bitch, but it's fine. I'm putting up with it. Episode 4 was dog shit. I was not happy with it at all. Not happy with it. Culture has joined the Matrix. Zodlander sent in 100 Swedish kroner, I think.
Yes.
Says, sorry to hear you had some kind of Griswold's comedy roundabout after There's Parliament again. I'm going to watch Godzilla -1 on Friday. Don't get why is it in Sweden before
I almost brought that up.
I don't know why it's.
Well, you guys will get it for longer, though, won't you? That's the other thing.
Look, kids,
who would get it for longer?
The movie, you guys will all, outside of the U.S., you guys can hang on to it as long as they want, I think.
Yep.
Problem with the U.S. is they have to. Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so, because it's a very indie distributor that's got it. I don't think they'll have it for very long either. I'll have to check. I mean,
I'm just saying, I know the stipulation with Legendary, that's the only reason the U.S. can't keep it any longer than it can.
Yeah.
Well, no, mate, honestly, like, there's barely any showings.
Wow.
Like, I could see it being shown for like 2 days in the UK.
It started doing the same thing here, though, Nate. That's the thing. Like, when I first looked, it was like there was 2 showings I had, and that was it. And that was just that fan event. And then after the fan event, then the other showings started popping up. And then by Friday, all these little theaters started picking up the showings to where you went from being able to see it maybe 4 places here to like 10.
If you're an exhibitor, you go get that movie because that's going to make you money.
Yeah.
Like at this stage, like who are you betting on? Disney or Godzilla? Fucking Godzilla. It's absolutely not Disney at this stage to make you money as a cinema or as a theater. That is not going to make you money. It is literally Godzilla at this stage. It's hilarious how the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Richard Curtis sent in £20. Thank you so much, chap.
Proper money.
That's about $30 odd. That's
proper
good.
money.
Thank you so much. Says, sorry to derail the conversation. Can't wait to see Godzilla in over a week, by the way. I saw the new Grand Theft Auto mentioned on the BBC News today, and to me, this seems a positive sign that the game will suck. Yeah, if they're praising it, that piss right off.
They put diversity in it and made it lame and gay.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So let's quickly take a break from these super chats. We'll get to them in a minute, guys. So please do keep it going in. It doesn't have to be about what we're talking about either. It can be about whatever you want. Again, you want to profess your love to Tom?
Yeah.
Anyone want to profess their love to Tom? Please do.
He's my hetero life.
I'm taking applications.
Oh boy.
There you go. But we are going to shuffle on to our next topic, and it's a doozy. We're bringing it back.
So
what kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
It's one of the greatest things I ever saw. I loved it.
So what kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week? Well, she tried to say that Godzilla -1 is a flop, essentially. But we'll let her say what she had to say.
Before we get started, I just want to say that I feel a little bad because I know some of you are really big fans of the 2 movies that we're going to be focusing on today. And the truth is that their box office numbers, while by no means horrible, are not as fantastic as I think some of you would like them to be. In fact, I saw, because some Twitter accounts are posting the opening weekend, for instance, for Beyonce without any context, and I see all the responses being like, yay! But when you see it next to Taylor Swift, it's not a yay. And I have to be honest about that. But don't worry, I'm gonna give Beyonce her flowers. I just gotta keep it real. So please remember that a movie's box office, while it will affect many things about a film and those who are involved with it, it should not diminish your enjoyment of that movie. And I've had a couple of box office bombs. These aren't bombs, but that I've fallen in love with, and you just have to deal with it. All right, so the other outlier this weekend was Japan's Godzilla -1. Interestingly, hitting theaters the very same weekend that Warner Brothers debuts their first trailer for their new Godzilla movie, also co-starring Kong. And while this is the biggest opening ever for a Japanese movie in the North American marketplace,
Good Godzilla
hurrah,
movie.
huzzah, that's fantastic. it's still nowhere near the Hollywood openings for the franchise. So it's like not there. It's not where it needs to be.
Jesus Christ.
Interestingly, while all the ladies went to see Beyonce this weekend, all the men went to see Godzilla with an astounding 82% male audience and also skewing older. I guess both these movies didn't really light a fire under younger audiences, which is fascinating. Maybe their numbers would have been a little bit bigger if they had.
Younger audiences don't go to theaters.
This person is legit tarded. Like, commenting. It was true, isn't it? Like, commenting. Well, two things. Well, you know, Beyonce did well, but it's not Taylor Swift. You need to compare the movie with its budget, not like for like. It's not like for like. You're not. That doesn't make any sense. And then you're comparing. Fucking my brain. Honestly, I'm dumber for watching that. You're comparing Godzilla -1.
I warned you.
With the Hollywood movies, which have over 10 times the budget. You're a fucking moron.
Yeah. That's what I said yesterday. Is hilarious. She's overlooking that any of those legendary Godzilla films, you could make 10 Godzilla -1s for.
She's not.
And market them.
She's not smart.
Yeah, and market them, especially when you get to the latter films because they spent a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's surprised that men went to watch Godzilla. Well, no shit, love.
And was she
Obviously.
surprised that women went to watch Beyonce?
Oh my god.
And then she's like, "Well, they skewed older." I'm like, "Yeah,
Yeah, obviously. Isn't Godzilla -1? What's the rating for Godzilla -1?
Is it PG-13, Tom?"
I can't remember if it's considered R or PG-13, but yeah, it's something like that.
There were no bad words in it. There's violence.
And look, the last Godzilla film, if you don't count Godzilla versus Kong, it only made 48 million in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
Because remember, H and I would argue about that a lot.
It's a 12A in the UK.
So yeah, it'd be probably like a PG-13. Yeah.
PG-13, yeah.
And it's funny because to me, I'm like, okay, it's a PG-13 audience. It's going to skew older because your Godzilla fans are older.
Yeah, especially Toho fans, remember? Because,
Yeah.
Legendary's caught new fans, but the Toho fans are, of course they're going to be older.
Yeah, you're not.
It's so moronic.
Well, it's just like I don't think she understands genres and subgenres and stuff like that. So I don't think she gets it. I mean, if you were breaking this down, as an analyst, you'd be like, wow, this thing really pulled like the demographic.
It did amazingly well. It's the biggest foreign language movie debut of the year.
Yeah.
It's the biggest live action debut of any Japanese film of all time. I mean, hello. Those are amazing numbers. Those are amazing metrics, amazing records. And she's like, well, I didn't do as good as 2014's Godzilla. What? Did you even talk about the theaters it's being shown in?
Newsflash, Grace, 2014's Godzilla didn't do as well as 98 Godzilla either. What's your fucking point?
Well, she's not.
I mean, she's comparing apples to oranges. That's my fucking point here. You have two completely different things here. You have a US franchise that has, $100 to $200 some plus $1 million budget each, marketing out the wazoo.
Yeah.
As I've pointed out before, they've now figured out the formula and go, oh shit, maybe we should start advertising and getting this more towards kids because kids buy the toys. So Warner Brothers is very happy with this franchise, or they wouldn't have gone out of their way to make Legendary work it out with them to where they continue to have Godzilla and King Kong together to the point where the next film they do right after the last one was a Godzilla versus King Kong movie again.
Well, it was also that Legendary were going to sue Warner Brothers.
Exactly my point. Like, that was my point. They did so well with that last one and the last few that they're like, okay, between that and the toys that they're selling, that's the thing people are overlooking big time. Is the amount of toys this fucking franchise sells. As I've said time and time again, through all the Marvel films, the Star Wars movies, and everything else that have come and gone throughout the years, One thing is a mainstay.
I've
Exactly.
got the toy on screen now, Tom.
On my fucking shelf at my local Walmart, as I guaranteed is at most, whatever the last Godzilla movie is, those toys stay on the shelf. Don't go on clearance until the next one comes out. Like, I bet you $5 I can go out right now. They probably got Godzilla X Kong toys starting now, actually. But I was gonna say I could probably go get some Godzilla versus Kong toys right now. Right? Like, that was and that movie came out, what, almost 2 years ago now? More than that? Like, yeah. It was the same thing with King of the Monsters. Those toys stayed on the shelf until Godzilla versus Kong came out. Like, it was like the next day, all of a sudden, boom, they moved the old toys out, the new toys in. It was like, yeah.
So here's some numbers that aren't being reported by the numbers, which makes the numbers inaccurate right now as far as international box office goes. The film Godzilla Minus One on day one made $6.6 million in Japan. It was released, I think Friday, like November 11th or something. They've had this movie for almost a month there. And I mean, it went absolutely banana. They had 660,000 people see it on the first day.
That's in 660,000 people.
Yeah.
And what is the conversion?
That's incredible.
Oh, you mean in yen?
Yeah.
I think it was over 1 billion yen. It was like it was 1 billion yen.
And how much is that in US?
6.6 million.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You already did it. I'm sorry. I thought you were doing yen to begin with. My bad.
Yeah. And it's just insane. It topped in Japan, it topped the revenue that Shin Godzilla pulled in.
I was going to say Shin Godzilla was their biggest one before this, right? Other than the Demon Slayer one, I think came in between there, but
yeah, I mean, it is just bonkers, right? And it also hit an older audience there, but not quite the same statistical skew that we have here in the States. But I look at those things and I go, did no analyst look at what this was actually already doing, and why is the numbers not reporting Japanese box office at all?
Well, and I'll tell you something else. And this is what I think. If Hollywood is taking note of anything of this Godzilla thing, if they should be noticing it, they should be, is that US's biggest export is no longer US's biggest export.
Yeah. On November 14th, Godzilla Minus One in the Japanese market had already earned $13 million. And it's still running over there.
And I mean this because, look, I'm not an anime fan or anything like that, but I will acknowledge that whenever any of these animes come over here, this recent Godzilla film, the Bollywood films that have done so well lately, when these things happen, that just tells me that they're doing better shit everywhere else than what we're exporting, right? And they've rejected a lot of Hollywood just wholesale when it comes to a lot of the stuff that we're putting out anyway because of this crap that we're dealing with, you know? So, I mean, so they really got to start paying attention here. This is a big deal if you ask me.
It is.
That's a huge deal. And she's just like, it's not as good as you think. Oh my gosh, shut up, woman.
Not smart.
She is taking the most elementary look at this. Like, this is the worst kind of journalism like we see out of some of the worst rags when they try to make an excuse for Disney. Like, oh no, this was profitable. It's like, you need to go back to school and learn how to maths. Like, I suck at math. And I can look at the fact that this movie made $11 million on probably half, if not a third of the screens that one of the legendary films would normally get. Like, let's not even figure in the budget. Just the fact that it did $11 million and the last Godzilla movie did $41 million, and I'm not counting Godzilla versus Kong. That to me tells me that if you'd have had more theaters, this movie would have been right up there with King of the Monsters. It probably could have brought down $30 million this weekend had you had it in enough theaters, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do actually agree with that. Again, they've really been neutered by how little theaters that they've had for it available. They barely had barely anything available for it. It's insane, absolutely insane.
No, like because that's what Culture was saying is a lot of those theaters that we see in that number were added after the initial opening day, basically.
And not only that, I mean, you have to date, or at least through this last weekend, this film in Japan has amassed a total of 3.8 billion yen. And yes, I'm looking that up for you right now, Tom. So,
That's crazy.
Well, and I also want to take into consideration the difference in population and the amount of screens they probably have there, and that kind of a factor too. I mean,
what did I say? 3.3 billion yen?
because what, Japan's
something
about
like
the
that.
size of what? Florida and
They have
a couple other southern states, and that's about it.
125 million population.
What is it?
125 million from what I could find.
Oh God, yeah, that's not very big.
Yeah, so far in Japan, as through the last weekend that we've had, it is now sitting at 22.4 million US dollars.
See, and it did half of that in one weekend in the US.
Yeah.
So good.
I'm just
So
saying.
good. Well, I thought we'd enjoy that segment one more time just because it's funny.
So
What kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week?
It's one of the greatest things I ever saw. I loved it.
Oh, massive props to Tom for the little jingle there. We love
It
it.
is fantastic.
I get more use out of it than you realize.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's get to some super chats before we shuffle on. So Jeremiah Hembry sent in $5, says Godzilla -1 is number one in the movie box. Not quite sure what that means. Movie box office. What's that?
Box office. Well, not here. It is in Japan though. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. It's amazing. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Tommy Reviews for $5 says, I saw Godzilla Friday. It's Top Gun Maverick. If the 54 film was Top Gun. I enjoyed it more than the OG film in a great way. Best film of 2023 to me.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Do you think it's the best film of 2023?
Yes.
I don't know about its culture so far. It's right up there for me. Like Tetris, I have to watch again, and I got to watch this again to kind of make that decision.
I'm seeing.
Okay.
I'm seeing it again this weekend. I'm going to see Godzilla -1 again this weekend. And what I'm going to do is focus on the details I did the first time, because it was just I saw it on this massive IMAX screen with this incredible sound. So I'm going to sit farther back. I'm going to like the back of the IMAX and see if I can see things I didn't see the first time, because I was dead center.
And I don't know if I compare this to Maverick though, but.
Yeah, interesting comparison. Well, he obviously
because and the only reason I say that is because Maverick was actually a sequel. We should give this thing props. This is a remake in its own way. And this is the kind of remake we used to get back in the 70s and 80s, right? The kinds that were like, okay, now we see why you redid this. And this movie really gives us something new while also giving us everything the original film was at the same time.
We got High Def 10, sorry, for $10, says, I've heard Halo Season 2 has started. What's your opinions? I can't believe he took his helmet off. The Netflix film was great. Well, funny you should say that. High Def, my dude.
What's a Halo?
So, Halo Season 2 is happening. They've released the trailer. Did you guys watch Halo?
No, I barely played the original game. Yeah.
I noped out after the second episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I survived all of them.
No.
And I did ranty reviews,
Woo.
brutal live streams about it. I absolutely tore it apart. I just kept ripping it apart. And it was great content. It was good fun. I enjoyed it a lot. Now they're coming back with another one. I don't know why, because they spent like $10 million an episode on this. So well over $100 million they spent on the whole season. Crazy. It's going to be released February 8th. And you look at a picture like this and you're like, yeah, that looks all right. Not bad. Coulter's not looking, but if he were, he would say, yeah, that looks all right. Not bad.
I'm looking.
All right.
I'm trying to stay up to date.
Yeah, that's cool, right? Quite cinematic.
It does look great.
And then you come down here to the trailer and get rid of that. And instantly his fucking helmet's off again. 4 seconds in and his helmet's off. He looks like he's having a poo, just as an FYI.
That's true. Yeah.
He literally looks constipated.
Yeah.
And then this one, this Spartan, she can put a helmet on. The audacity! She actually puts a helmet on. We can't. I can't show you the whole trailer, ladies and gents, because Paramount.
Claimage.
Boy, howdy, do they love a copyright claim? Oh my god.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's putting a helmet on.
Well, she has to.
Well, I just want to highlight something, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
They got such pushback from Cortana. They've only gone and changed the model or the actor. Where the hell is it?
You were just on it, weren't you?
I know, but there you go. That's not Cortana that we saw in the first season 1.
No.
That's not Cortana at all.
No, not even close.
Not
That's
even close.
That's actually worse.
It's worse. It looks real bad. This whole thing looks real bad.
But remember, they have to get the chick to wear her helmet because they have to put dudes in there so that they can accomplish things that look good on film.
Oh, his helmet's off again.
Yeah, he can take his hat off. He can still do stuff.
All day, every day, he takes his helmet off and he cries like a bitch. He does. He cries. Yeah, this looks absolute garbage. Like, there are some things in this that look good. Oh, there's the halo. Probably not going to be anything. Probably not going to be in it, though, is it? Let's be honest. Dr. Halsey. Got to say, they got quite a lovely looking actress to play Dr. Halsey. Not bad. Not bad. Dated someone that looked like this with black hair at one point. Throwing that out there. Anyway, she had bigger lips, though. Anyway, moving on. It looks like... watch this podcast, guys. You learn loads of new stuff. You do. Anyway, what is this noise? Is Paramount the guys that have got? It is Paramount, isn't it? This all Star Trek, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, Paramount. Yeah.
So it makes sense. I literally just popped into my head. It makes sense why they're going full steam balls to the wall with this, because they won't have Star Trek soon, because Star Trek was it Discovery STD is ending.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be ending finally this season for once. Not that anybody noticed.
They're pouring money into this.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to get an STD anymore real soon.
Well, I've been hearing some funky rumors, and we're working on a report.
Oh.
I'm not trying to get anybody upset, but it looks like we may be getting Star Trek back, but we might be sacrificing Stargate.
What?
Yeah. I don't care. That's fine. I liked Stargate years
I'm just going to say that.
Well, anyway, Tom, do you want to tune into Halo? Are you a fan?
No, it's never been a game I was a real fan of, or from the beginning I've heard nothing but problems with the series, so it doesn't sound like anything I'm going to really want to check into. So more power to those who enjoy it. And yeah.
What about you, Culture?
Oh, I'm not going to turn into this hot garbage. No. I mean,
No.
like I said, I noped out at season 2. I mean,
you know what, Culture?
Huh?
You're going to have to, mate. I'm going to make you.
Oh, neat. All right.
Just for this.
Okay. You're going to get a smile out of it. That's fine.
Oh, mate, it's so funny. It's such good content ripping it apart. It's very, very funny.
All right.
And people are like, haters gonna hate. And you're like, yeah, absolutely. Because garbage.
Yeah.
100% I'm a hater. It's
I
crap.
give everything a fair shot, right? I give everything a fair shot. I went into Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, thinking it was going to be complete poo.
And remember the CGI gun that they had?
Oh,
in the first
no. I can't believe you're going to make me watch this. You know what? It's fine. I'll make
Do you not remember the CGI gun in the first episode?
I'll make. I do. I'll make content on it. I will. I'll capitalize on it twice. It's just dumb.
Oh, it was so bad. I'm just trying to find.
Just dumb.
Oh my god.
I mean,
You
I found
found
it
it?
more
Oh, you
interesting.
found There it is.
CGI gun. This was actually in an episode of Halo.
That's bad.
So he had a prop. It got punched out of his hand or something like that, and then they cut to the ground, and it was a CGI gun. Why didn't you just put the prop on the ground?
You're gonna fix it in post, Nate. You gotta fix
But
it.
you just could have put it on the ground. Oh, what's going on?
I don't know.
Oh, holy fuck. Honestly, it was so bad. It was real bad. Real bad. Well, anyway, whistle stop tour of Halo just there. Guys, let's shuffle on. Where are we all? We got 569. Yeah. Great number that.
Hit that like button, share it around. Let's get
very platonic reasons. Hit that like button.
Yeah.
And let me know where you're all from. We've got C Rig says, did your source on the Crow reboot say whether the film was complete or finished, special effects, etc.? Not specifically. Generally speaking, because of where they're at in the test screening phase, and due to the budget that would be involved in this film specifically, it sounded like it was done. I mean, from the opening crawl was finished. And, you know, if it's a kind of like a rough cut or it's like a real quick test screen, like an assembly cut, these kind of things, they're not going to do the opening crawl. I mean, the opening crawl was said to be almost James Bond-like with, we'll get to it, but pretty much done as far as I could tell from the descriptions of things. And just due to the timing as well. Olaf Van Essen in €6 says, show how much she knows, right? Didn't she also predict that Mario would bomb, right? Wonder who does her research. She's certainly blonde. Mario wasn't going to last till Friday, remember? It's fucking $1 billion later.
She was, I can't believe how checked out she was on that. We talked about that at the time, and I was like, how do you predict that? I mean, this is going to be one of the biggest movies of the year.
She
I think I put that clip in here. I think it's in
He vatored! Oh, now he's back. That was fantastic. Oh.
I love how she turned it into a verb.
Oh my god. Anyway, there you go.
Nothing better than when someone takes a noun and turns it into a verb. It's just amazing.
Gypsy Danny Mix voice at $1.99 says, what do you think the Marvel's box office be if Dune 2 stood? I guess that's like stayed.
Yeah,
that's true actually.
Oh, whatever. Never had a chance. Never had a chance.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I have a feeling, and this may be off the cuff prediction, I think Dune 2 is gonna surprise some people with how well it probably does. Because I think that the fact that they put that on HBO Max and in theaters at the same time really hurt it. I mean, we were talking about Godzilla versus Kong earlier. I still argue that would have been a $1 billion hit. There's no way it wouldn't have. It made $500 million while it was on both streaming and in theaters at the same time. Dune didn't do that well, but I have a feeling the second one's gonna impress with how much it actually does. I don't know if it's gonna do like amazing numbers, but it'll do better than the first one by far, and not just by proxy because of. But I mean, I think it's built up a bit of an audience. Timothée Chalamet, the women love him. I don't know why. We're starting to hear, about Wonka, him being really good in it, and the movie not being as bad as people are thinking. So who knows? Between that momentum from that and just the fact that the first film was well received, I think it might do well.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would agree with that. Right, ladies and gents, get your super chats out there ready. I'm going to be dropping an exclusive. No one else has this. Me and my sources. When I say it's my source, not just like, oh, this is a good source on the internet. When it's my source, Tom will attest to this. Culture, everyone will attest to this. 99.9% always right. So, dropping some exclusives right now. Brilliant. Oh, just in time, actually. Nick.
Oh.
Literally just in time. Nick.
What am I just in time for? Some shenanigans?
I have exclusive The Crow remake leaks.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how any remake. It is a remake, right? Or reboot?
Yes and no. It's a readaptation.
Yeah. I don't know how anything could beat the original because the original was freaking badass. Oh my god, I love that movie.
Absolutely agree. But let's get into it. So let's roll our little intro. Right. Okay. So this is from my source. So let's get into it. There was a test screening very, very recently. And my source does a very, very good job of writing plot, plot, everything you can think of, essentially. So this is a radically different interpretation of James O'Barr's graphic novel, right? So there's only the basic premise and a few characters have been carried over into the brand new story, which is pretty fair because the original Crow is not a direct adaptation of the original graphic novel either. That's important to note. But obviously that's the definitive adaptation. So that's what people will always compare it to. So this is one of the better films of the franchise, according to my source. Though it does lack the energy and style of the 94 original, this movie is much slower in pace, with a tone reminiscent of such gritty neo-noir thrillers like Drive and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, rather than the gothic, rain-swept fantasy world of Tim Burton's Batman, that sort of style. So the very best thing about the movie is the incredible and committed performance of Bill Skarsgård. What a surprise. He's a great actor. Who is seen here sporting a cropped mullet and full body tattoos. He even has some on his face like the Joker. So that's probably going to be a bit iffy for a lot of people. But in context, let's explain it because of who he is in this film. The film opens with Eric Draven fighting to get clean in a rehab facility. So he is literally a down and out druggie, right? He is an abuser. He's a drug abuser. So it kind of makes sense having him depicted in that way, I think, or at least it eases off as stupid as it possibly could be. So it's in this rehab facility where he meets Shelley, a beautiful new resident with her own dark past, and the two quickly become infatuated with each other, and eventually they break out of the facility together, running off into a nameless city, ready to take the world head on. So you can kind of see how that sort of, these two lost souls come
already
together.
Don't like it.
Yeah, I knew you wouldn't. But you can see how these two lost souls sort of come together to form this sort of unbreakable love bond, I guess, right? It's sort of, the setup anyway.
I don't know, because it kind of goes against the idea that Eric and what's-her-face were already good people. Like, that's the thing I don't like.
Well, I guess you could argue they are good. They're trying to get clean.
Yeah, I know, but that's still, there was never this, I don't like this idea of him being some addict or any, like, no.
No, I agree. I
Yeah,
100% agree with all of this, right? I'm trying to play devil's advocate, I guess. So the first act of the movie focuses on their budding romance. It's like basically the entire first act. And this kind of throws water to that, by the way. They live fast and play hard, enjoying recreational drugs, making love, and professing their newfound affection for each other. So they're not really good people. Not soon after, we are introduced to the film's antagonist, a powerful businessman known as Mr. Rogue, played by Danny Huston, who has connections to Shelley's past. Now, this is where I really don't like it. Yeah. Rogue is imbued with supernatural abilities that allow him to trade innocent souls in exchange for an extended lifespan here on Earth.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. When Shelley bears witness to his sinister agenda, he sends his thugs to find and eliminate her and anyone else who can compromise his position of power. This leads to the inevitable confrontation where Shelley and Eric are discovered and brutally executed by Rogue's henchmen. So, thoughts on that and the opening?
Oh, you're really not selling me. I know you're just reporting the news here, but
yeah, and I love the fact that you
not trying to sell it.
I love the fact that you have these leaks. I'm not loving these leaks.
That's what I mean. I know it's not
Yeah.
yours to sell. That's my point. It's just that it's not selling me on it. No, I'm way off on this. I'm like, where are you going with this? Like, if they would have just done a straight adaptation of the original comic, I'd have been happier.
Yeah.
I think they would have compared it too. I think people would compare it too much.
I don't care, because if
movie at that point,
as long as you don't use the shit that they made directly for the movie and just take stuff directly from the comic, I'm fine with that. See, because that's the thing. Let's to be clear, what's different in the original movie compared to the comic. The big overarching things are that there is no like main bad guy in the comic book. There's a character like that, but it's not exactly the same. For one thing, certain events happen differently. If I remember correctly, I don't think the Crow dies at the end of the book either. So like the whole Crow dying thing, I think was added in the movie too. So there's a few broad strokes that were changed. But even like Fun Boy and some of the other characters and things like that are still all in the original comics. So like,
yeah. I mean, look, again, playing devil's advocate, look, they never should have made this film to begin with, right? Like, they never should have made it. Yeah. And I can kind of see their thinking is that they're trying to escape that a little bit and take the broad strokes of the story, I guess. But let me continue. So Eric awakens in a sort of limbo, a dreamlike world between worlds. I actually quite like this sort of idea. Guarded by an army of crows and guided by a mysterious vagabond man who seems to be a representative of the afterlife. This guardian sets Eric on his path to putting the wrong things right by means of vengeance in order to rescue Shelley's soul from hell. So I just like the imagery, this sort of like weird cosmic plane with crows guarding it. I think I like that sort of idea. So he returns to the world of the living, unable to be killed, but lacking the skills to fight. One of the more interesting aspects of this movie versus the previous films is that Eric doesn't suddenly have the confidence and physical prowess to take his revenge easily. It's messy. He suffers some brutal physical damage along the way because his healing abilities are much slower, and he definitely feels pain with every attack. I do quite like that, because just randomly coming back and being able to fight is a bit like, okay. So I do like that. I like that idea. So for the majority of the film, Eric doesn't have the traditional look of the Crow either. Just do it. Why not do it? Just do it.
It's in the comics,
Yeah. So he doesn't fully transform into the undead Avenger with a painted face until the final act, and he doesn't have the Crow as a constant companion. There are multiple birds seen throughout the movie in the background, but they don't necessarily guide him in his mission. He has to figure out how to track down his killers on his own. And the film is extremely violent, though a lack of personality from the villains, who are mostly interchangeable thugs, robs the chaos of any emotional impact. They are mostly just meat for the grinder, cannon fodder. There is also very little action, with only one memorable set piece. A spectacularly bloody showdown at an opera house that really delivers the necessary visceral thrills. So there's a little bit more to get to, but thoughts on that?
I'm very turned off by the idea that the bad guys are very interchangeable, because like that was a very important part of the original film. Like we can sit here and name off most of the gang members, right? You had like Fun Boys, Tintin, T-Bird, Skank. I mean, we know these guys. Why? Because they were very memorable and they deserved every fucking thing they got from him. And that's why those revenge movies only work when you have a very goddamn good villain who earned every damn thing that happens to them.
Yeah.
Right. Those are the ones that we find the most satisfying. Go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with what Tom's saying, because what they did to him and his girlfriend in that movie, and what they keep doing throughout the film, like you get as a person in the audience watching it, you get satisfaction from every single person he is killing. It's almost like the Predator, but kind of like reverse, where like the Predator's the good guy, because he's hunting them down one at a time, throughout the movie. And the Crow is his source of power, and he uses the Crow. He sees through the Crow's eyes. He has this connection.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're taking that away is
when Top Dollar figures it out, he's like, oh God, fuck, I'm dead.
Yeah,
I love that scene.
How am I here? Like, I got to figure this stuff out on my own. Like, you understood that he was getting all this information, was understanding all this from the Crow in the movie. And so, yeah, I do not like the premise of this at all.
Yeah.
I was curious about them doing a remake to it. Like I said before we even kick this off, I just don't know how you can compare or compete with the original. I just don't see how that could be outdone by anything that they do. And this is just a really bad adaptation, it sounds like.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I'd put top dollar up there with like
and no painted face to the end.
Hans Gruber and shit like that
so
as far as bad guys, man. I mean, you got him.
Michael Wincott's iconic.
Exactly. Like you got to compete with that. That's my point.
Let's get this last bit out of the way. So,
Culture didn't get to give his piece on that.
It's fine. Keep going. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Again, Skarsgård is a standout here. He isn't an action hero. He's vulnerable and emotional. There's a real sense of trauma and even fear that we see in Eric when he realizes what is happening to him. And when he's finally ready to unleash hell on his enemies, it feels earned. There is no doubt that he was the absolute top choice to play this character. And after years of development hell, I think the producers can safely say they scored a win with this casting. Singer-turned-actress FKA Twigs brings the necessary charm, warmth to the role of Shelley. She's beautiful, sympathetic, and plays a much larger role here than in the original. Danny Huston is appropriately menacing as the villain, though he's never quite as compelling or as interesting as Michael Wincott's top dollar in the original. The movie overall isn't bad, but it doesn't have the same emotional impact as the 94 film. And sadly, I don't see it becoming as iconic. I will give it credit for daring to be bold and different instead of being a lazy copy of the original. They swing for the fences here, and it mostly lands. Now, there's one little bit which was added. It's better than any of the sequels, was reiterated. This individual is a massive fan of the original movie. So they were excited for this one, wasn't expecting such a drastic change in tone and style, but they admire the director's choice to stand out from the pack. Eric has face tattoos reminiscent of Jared Leto's Joker. It says, but if you were going to interpret Eric Draven as a hip and young full Avenger for modern audiences, I suppose it makes sense to have him look like a warrior post Malone. Kind of makes sense to a degree. He sells the look because he's an effing great actor. He's a fucking great actor. And he's a far better choice than Jason Momoa would have been. The opening credit sequence is an almost Bond-style montage of Eric's tattooed body writhing in a pool of blood set to techno music.
Oh, fuck. That sounds like something out of the 2000s. What the hell?
I don't hate. So, I've already done my video on it, so I'll just give my brief opinion and we'll go to culture first. I don't, as a concept, look, first and foremost, preface all of this with the fact that they never should have made it, right? Because this will always, even though it's a readaptation of other material, it will always get compared to the definitive adaptation, which is, of course, the original with Brandon Lee, The Crow. They never, ever, 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 ever should have made it. That goes without saying, even though I've said it. However, if you're going to do it, as a readaptation, you're going to push way past the bounds of anything that could be compared remotely to the original in a lot of ways. And so I get a lot of why they've done a lot of what they've done. And obviously I've not seen it. I don't know. But I get why they've done a lot of what they've done. Culture, over to you.
Yeah, culture.
As a replacement for the previous film, this is total dog shit. From what you said, not very excited about
it. It's a replacement necessarily, is it? Really?
No, I will accept it's a new story. Okay, I'm trying to step back here and separate, feelings and everything else that I might have about this. But I think that you're right. I think there could be a good story here if it's well managed. I'm not particularly excited about, unless it's like John Wick, I'm not going to be very excited about the music, right? The music choices into the John Wick films were appropriate, and they weren't, some rehash stuff from way back when. But I'm not sure I like the idea of having the existence be in this kind of this nether realm there where he's poised to try to drive himself away from it. Doesn't resonate like the previous film did. And having the guide not be the crow, instead be this man person thing, something.
No. Just that's just someone in the afterlife. You didn't know.
Oh, okay, all right. I guess I misunderstood. So the crow was really like a key element in the film. Being able to see through the crow's eyes and everything else to hunt the enemies. Kind of is is it missing that? Because from what you said, it doesn't sound like that exists in this world.
No, it just says that the individual just said that the birds are not with him always, not all the time, and they don't necessarily lead him to find people. He has to find them by himself as well. So I don't know whether some of that.
Didn't you say they weren't the source of his power either, or something like that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that wasn't said.
So
no, it was just that. So it's that basically the crow is not a constant companion. That's what it is. They don't necessarily guide him in his mission, and they're not the crow is not a constant companion. So it's not that I think they're still keeping it as the
Well, see, and that's what kind of hurts this film, because that helps you expedite a lot of the stuff story wise, and that's what the story you're telling me feels like is kind of like what they're trying to do with Highlander, I think, and that is expand upon earlier parts of the story to kind of spread it out so they can do more sequels. And in this case, you shouldn't. You need to kind of do this one as its own self-contained story. And then my second biggest problem with this is sure, Skarsgård is probably a great actor. No problem with him. Same thing with Danny Houston. I actually enjoy Danny Houston immensely. I think he's a great actor. But problem is, you shouldn't have made this movie until you had somebody who you go, you know what? This guy would make a great crow.
Anyway.
You shouldn't.
Anyway.
You shouldn't. But
agree with that.
But I'm going to play devil's advocate here and say the only reason you should ever make something like this is if somebody comes along like Brandon Lee, and that's why that worked, right? Because they were like, what can we put this guy in that is going to be different than anything his dad did, but also play to his strengths? Like when I think of the crow, I don't think of Skarsgård. There's nobody right now that comes to mind. So until the next Kung Fu Kid comes along, then maybe. But
playing devil's advocate, mate, you wouldn't have thought Brandon Lee until you saw him in The Crow. Anyway.
No. I disagree. That's my whole fucking point. Is when that happened, that was like his next logical step, right? He had already done a couple of features. We all knew who he was because of his dad, right? When he got cast in that role, we all knew about it. As a Bruce Lee fan, as a younger Bruce Lee fan, like we followed Brandon quite closely. And when we heard he was playing that role, we're like, brilliant. That's fucking perfect. This is the role that's going to put him on the map finally. Because as I just said, it's right in line with what he was good at. Plus, it's nothing like his dad ever did. So that was the thing we had as a fan base we were trying to say is, like, you got to put him in something that's not like a ripoff of something his dad did, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, but I don't think you can quite compare them because The Crow's already happened. Well, so do you see what I mean? Like, you can't be like,
to most people, yes, but to us, like Brandon had already done a couple movies before that.
No, but as in The Crow movie has now happened. I mean, you can't really compare now Skarsgård being cast in a remake,
right?
Of that,
but my point is,
terrible.
You shouldn't even have bothered trying to do this until somebody come along that you're like, okay, this guy would be perfect for this role because it fits his image. I don't think there
ever will be. That's my point.
You're probably right, and that would be the best reason not to make it.
Yeah, but that's my point. And that's what I said. My whole prerequisite was this never should have been made.
No, I know, but I mean, I get you, and I get you. The whole point is the reason it is what it is because of Brandon Lee, and that's my point. Is until you come across somebody who's like, oh, this guy could be the next Bruce Lee or Brandon Lee, that's when you go, okay, what can we do with this guy? Yeah, then maybe The Crow you could consider. That's my point.
Culture,
if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense. Did you have any more to add, Culture?
No, just that I'm kind of at a loss. I've been listening to you, all of you, except for Nick, who's been really quiet. But
I'm good.
Um,
I'm just giving now you guys a chance to talk.
yeah, I was listening, and I'm torn. I will see this, but I'm torn. My expectations are set very low right now.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's
Yeah.
absolutely. I think, of course, that's 100% fair because again, this film, in most people's eyes, never should have been made. So I think it's fair to sit there and be like, expectations in the toilet right now.
Yeah.
Nick,
So when I first heard the news that they were remaking this, in my mind, I was like, okay, they could modernize this, sort of like when you go from Tim Burton's Batman to uh what's his face's Batman. God, I'm drawing them.
Which one?
The Dark Knight Rises, Dark Knight.
Christian
Nolan.
Bale.
Yeah, Christian
And
Bale's
Nolan.
Batman. Yeah, Nolan Batman. So like basically they took and they just like modernized it, you know, and made it kind of like real world. If you look at the original Crow movie, it's very Tim Burton-esque in like the city almost. It was very dark, you know. A lot of the shots were very Tim Burton-ish. So I was thinking in my mind, okay, they're gonna modernize this, put this in like New York City or some other city somewhere, Detroit or Chicago or somewhere, and it's just gonna be the same premise, the same concept, and they'll add and maybe change a little stuff up here and there, but ultimately it'll just be a modernization. But what you described, it sounds like they're changing some key things that made that original movie so good in the storytelling of that. So yeah, I'm kind of yeah, like Cultural said, my expectations are definitely down on this at this point.
that's fair.
But I'm curious to check it out and see, you know, how it is. But yeah, I don't think this is even gonna come close to the original. I don't think nothing they could do could ever come close to that original film.
I think everyone would agree with you there.
Yeah.
The first one was so iconic.
I think the sequels prove that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the thing. They're damned if they do, and I guess from the producer standpoint, they're damned if they don't because they want to make some money. You got any closing thoughts there, Tom?
No, that's pretty much it. I think you guys nailed it. This is something that's been attempted so many times. We have like 4 sequels and a TV show that never did anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the second film is the only one that had any notation to talk about, and I think the only reason that did well is just because people went in with certain expectations, and like me, we're probably ready to walk out halfway through.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, and if they wanted to, they're obviously just using the name. That they know that they're going to get some sort of buzz and draw from just having the name The Crow. But you know, if they're going to veer this far away from the original, you know, just do something else. If he doesn't have the face paint or anything like that to the end, just do something different. Call it something different, and then people aren't going to be having that comparison.
yeah.
Agree with that.
But I understand why they're doing it. I mean, there's money and interest and buzz to be made by just the naming it alone.
Yeah.
I'm sure a few people will go see it out of morbid curiosity.
Yeah, they should have just called it the Raven or something.
Right. Well, on that note, let's shuffle on, guys. We've got 600 people in the chat. Not very many likes. Hit that thumbs up button. That'd be great. And I will say again, 600 people in the chat. Are you all subscribed to the live archives, the clips channel? If not, please do hit subscribe there because obviously lots of people just sort of drift into this podcast as it's running.
Yeah.
But if you want to stay up to date on all the clips, the best bits, and the full streams, then it's linked down below in the description box. It's Mr. H Reviews live archives. Hit subscribe on that, please. And turn the bell notifications on as well. I work really, really hard on getting all the clips ready to go. Literally, I mean, there's like 3 or 4 that go out the very next day, literally tomorrow. So, yeah, hit subscribe down there. Turn the bell notifications on. And if you want to join in on the podcast, you can be anything you want to talk about, send in a super chat and we'll get to it. Please do become a member. That helps out as well. So Tom Workin sent in $5. Says, got to go, unfortunately. But the boys, Invincible, think this is the nail on the coffin in Disney Marvel's coffin. The boys and Invincible, is that the nail in Disney Marvel's coffin? No, I don't think so. I think it's helped, though. I think it has helped. I wouldn't say necessarily it's the nail in the coffin. What do we think? Do we think that the sort of variety of superhero products is showing the cracks in the creative process for Marvel? What do you reckon? Because I think that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, because you don't have any creatives at Disney right now. I mean, that's evident across the board. I mean, it's not just Marvel; it's everything that they're struggling with. I think the performance of the last couple 3, 5, Marvel films was also help driving those nails. So yeah, I would say if not the final nail, it might be dang close. I don't know how you go forward without massive improvement, recognizing where your shortcomings are and stepping away from that path.
You said shortcomings.
I just got 2 points on that. One, this narrative that they're trying to push of superhero fatigue, but people are really loving The Boys, the spinoff, Invincible, which I've heard nothing but good things. I just had my nephew just texted me today. I was like,
great.
Have you seen Invincible? And I was like, not yet. I keep hearing about it. He's like, oh my gosh, you gotta check it out. So the thing is, people like superhero stuff. There's not superhero fatigue. I hate when they keep saying that. Or sequel fatigue, or whatever, because there's so many other properties that fall into that same genre that are doing well. And then ultimately at the end of the day, I think Disney's going to put their own nail in their own coffin because it's all because of them. These people are going to these other shows and stuff because of how bad it is of a job that they're doing. So to me, they're putting their own nail in their own coffin.
Yeah, agree with that. Tom, culture?
I don't know what else to say. Like I said, I mean, I'm feeling like there's not going to be, nothing's ever going to equal what the 30 some films in the MCU did, or I should say the 31 properties were represented in the MCU. But I feel like 30 some or whatever, but I feel like we've reached the end of a trend in Hollywood. And Tom is consistent when he talks about it, and I'll let him speak on it. Hollywood always drives things into the ground. Always. They never pull out of a trend before it's actually dead.
I mean, you mean as far as like superhero fatigue
anything.
Or whatever?
Yeah, anything.
I mean, it's kind of like, how do you define it, right? Because I mean, something like The Boys kind of goes along with comparing superheroes to westerns.
Yeah.
In a sense that westerns and superheroes have now both reigned supreme as far as the main film genre for the same amount of time. And then westerns never really went away, but what they did was they went to television and they got cheaper, and very rarely did you see one on the big screen anymore after like 1970. Do I think superhero movies are going to get to that point though? I don't know. I really don't. The big difference between superhero movies and westerns is superhero movies, you can do different genres you got a lot more room to play with than you do in a western setting, right? So I mean, they're kind of apples to oranges at the same time as they are kind of comparing apples to apples, but I have a hard time believing that the fatigue, I think we still would have gotten a fatigue at some point, but I think the problem set in faster and harder because of all of the shit that we're dealing with here, pun intended, I guess, with the interjection of all these politics and overt sexuality and all that kind of business. Like, I think that expedited the death of the superhero film more so.
I agree with that. Right, well. Are we about ready to shuffle on?
Yeah.
Apt little question there before we shuffle on to this.
The message is we suck.
Well, that is, I mean,
We
that is
as in
essentially
Disney.
it. So this was pretty insane, actually. Disney sent out a memo. To say, with the Marvel's box office now winding down, we will stop weekend reporting of international global grosses on this title. They've never done this. Ever. Isn't this a very, very strange thing to do? I mean, you'd think you would just remove it from theaters, but they had to send out a memo. It hasn't even grossed it hasn't even grossed $100 million at the domestic box office.
Nope. And worldwide it hasn't hit 200.
This is to
million.
try and get people like us to quit talking about it. That's why.
Yeah.
Oh no, never. Never. Oh, never. But it's just so bizarre. So, lowest ever grossing MCU movie in history. Worst performing comic book movie in history in terms of its budget versus its return as well, of which it hasn't made any return.
It hasn't even made its marketing money back.
Nope.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
That's actually true.
4 weeks, guys. It's done 4 weeks.
Take the budget
and they're
out.
pulling it, basically.
Just the marketing they haven't even made.
$80 million in 4 weeks in America.
Yeah.
That's atrocious. That's so
This is
bad.
worse than I actually thought it would be.
This actually could make my statement that they lost $500 million in November incorrect, because it could be substantially more.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, man. You lost over $500 million in the month of November. How did you do that? Well, he released Wish, which is garbage, and you released The Marvels, which is garbage. Both of my videos today were, oh my gosh, were about this thing. It's crazy.
I think what's funny about it, right, is that they're doing this just before the holiday season as well. So they know it's just gone. Like, you'd think you'd be doing a special showing or something for the holiday period, but they don't expect it to do anything now. Done. Completely dead.
They pulled all support.
Dead as a dodo.
Yeah. They, you know what they're doing? They're working on their rhythm method.
What's that?
And they don't want to glove up.
Oh my god. That's
Sorry.
funny.
Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good. So what do we think, guys? Tom, awfully quiet on this.
I think it's hilarious. I think it's hilarious. I mean, look, the reason they're going to stop reporting it is just so people can't keep making videos on how piss poor it's doing. They've got an advertisement out now trying to claim it's the #1 movie in the world. When, yeah, if you with a little caveat, yeah, they're trying to claim it's the #1 movie in the world still. It's definitely not in the US though. That's for fucking sure. So, and that's just because, like I said, I don't think Beyonce opened outside of maybe, I think, the US and a couple places. I don't even know if it is outside of the US. And Godzilla is kind of like on a tour basically. So how could you count that? And Hunger Games, well, whatever. I don't even know if that's opened up in all the markets yet. So that being said, like at this point, I'm not surprised they're doing this so Culture and Valiant and others can't make videos about how bad it's doing at the box office anymore and actually have numbers. But I don't know if them not reporting it's going to stop the numbers from getting out there, though. I'm not even sure if them reporting the numbers has anything to do with it, right? Culture? I mean,
no, I mean, I have the numbers from yesterday. It earned $184,181 domestic. Did you hear me? $184,000.
I know, that's why I laughed.
$181. That's freaking nut bar. And it's like, it literally made $84 per theater yesterday.
That's so bad.
And right now,
like
your main demographic is off of school for the most part too, because A lot of colleges have off already. So
We had somebody in here in our chat when we were talking about the Marvels yesterday. No, excuse me, last week when we were talking about it and all of that, saying we were wrong. The film's going to have legs. No,
Who the fuck said that?
one of the people in the chat last week that was taking shots at us. I was like, all right.
I bet they feel stupid right now.
some troll.
Well, it's
yeah,
just,
I
it's,
doubt
yeah,
they're
it's
here
like
now.
well, you can't call it a flop yet.
Yeah, you can kind of extrapolate by these things unless you have like some kind of miracle that happens.
Especially after you see the second weekend drop off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's key right there. Every single time. You just
Look.
cannot deny that.
This movie is done so bad, I think it's going to affect Aquaman because
Yes.
Six has been watching her local theaters and they have not sold one single ticket yet for Aquaman. At this point, for the Marvels, they had at least sold like a half a dozen tickets, I think it was.
You know what would be funny if Aquaman bombs? That'd be the second movie in 1 year that's a sequel to a $1 billion movie that bombs.
And it's just going to prove us all right. It's going to prove us all right. And that's the beauty of this whole thing is like we've been getting so much crap for years about how we're just making this shit up. We're not, selective. We're doing just what the other side is and doing selective reporting. It's like, are we? Well, the proof is in the numbers, kids. Slowly but surely, the general audience, the people who don't listen to us, the people who don't give a shit about politics every day, the people who don't really have time to go see the big opening movie every weekend have finally gotten to the point where they do not trust Hollywood and definitely do not trust Disney.
Yeah.
Right. So and that's where Elon Musk had his big moment on the stage. And he was 100% right when he said people already are protesting Disney. Yes, they are. Yes, they are in large numbers. When you lost middle America, you have lost your biggest demographic.
I think Aquaman 2 might get a small bit of draw from female audiences that are going strictly just to see Jason Momoa. But the vast majority of people...
I don't reckon that's the case, though, mate. I mean,
I'm just saying possibility.
Otherwise, if it was a draw, that new Fast and Furious movie would have been a massive hit, wouldn't it?
I see what Nick's saying, and I agree with you to a point. But now I'm looking at this, considering they haven't sold a single ticket yet for that, in that same area that they had already sold a few Captain Marvel tickets.
Yeah,
I think that this is going to perform just as bad or worse than The Flash.
I'll
tell you why.
I agree with that
because look at it like a poker game right now. In their hand, the Flash had Michael Keaton as Batman. That's like an ace, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what your lowest card was with Ezra Miller, right? That was a low card. But in this case, you've got Jason Momoa. At best, he's a king. But you got Amber Heard in there.
Yeah.
That's a fucking joker. Okay, because you go up to people on the street, like I said, about 10 people on average, okay? You go, do you know who Ezra Miller is? At least 9 of those people are going to go, who?
Yeah.
Maybe you get 2 out of that 10. You go up to somebody on the street and you go, who's Amber Heard? And they go, oh, that fucking bitch?
Yeah.
At least 9
Amber
or 10.
Heard?
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. People know her from the trial. Ezra hadn't quite hit, his bullshit hadn't quite hit the mainstream, I don't think. It did. I think it affected it.
Yeah.
Because I made the argument, had they dropped The Flash right after the Super Bowl, when they dropped that trailer, when a lot of middle America first came aware of the fact that Batman was back, that movie probably would have done gangbusters. But they waited too long, and Ezra had all that time in between where they're all his shenanigans had caught up with him. Add in James Gunn basically killing the whole universe on top of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Marvels.
I think Aquaman is going to do piss poor. I think it's going to play right along the same lines as the Marvels at this point.
I'm with you. I think you're 100% right. In fact, I think it's going to make the Flash look brilliant.
And I think Wonka might be the surprise hit of the Christmas season, actually.
Yeah.
I swear I said I reckon that's going to do really good.
I think you did, but I've been hearing more and more about it. I think it might, just mainly only because A, there's nothing else out there for competition, and B,
it's a good Christmas movie, mate. It's a
that's
good feel-good.
Basically it. Yeah.
People want it. They want a good feel-good film, and that's it.
But if Wonka sucks balls at the theaters, what's that going to tell us? That people are just done. I mean, I'm sorry. Shamalama Ding Dong is like the soyest of boys out there. I mean, is that your next action hero?
Look, all I know is I'm The ladies love him. The Timothy Chalamet.
What
Yeah,
I said, Shyamalan.
he is like the number one
I
trending
hear
guy
Shyamalan
on
a ding dong, like,
TikTokers
I
or
think of
whatever.
Shyamalan, you know, the M Night.
No,
I know. I'm just explaining.
no. Well,
When I think of Chalamet, I think of like the band. This-
oh yeah. Oh,
No, there you go. Thought that'd be funny. So
Timothy
Marvel's
Chalamet.
the Marvel is officially dead. Officially dead, never to be resuscitated. But what isn't dead are the super chats. So let's get to some of these.
Yay!
yeah.
The moment that was taken from me, sent in $4.99, says a Crow reboot should take place around the time of Edgar Allan Poe, a dark goth theme centered around the Raven.
See, now that would be interesting, like a Crow story, and call it the Raven. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd enjoy that. I think, and I mean, Edgar Allan Poe is a very underrepresented author in the adaptive works of Hollywood.
Modern,
Trying to figure out a way of saying that there.
If you go back to like the Hammer days and stuff like that, you had a lot of the Vincent Price films where he adapted a lot of them. But yeah, it's been many years.
True. I mean, current Hollywood. I mean, it's all Stephen King bollocks.
Yep.
For God's sake.
Yep.
So fucking sick of Stephen King.
So
Israel R sent in $5, says, hello, Mr. H, CC, Tom, and Nick. Godzilla -1 was great.
good.
So excited to own it on Blu-ray. Thoughts on Beetlejuice 2? I've not seen anything. I've kind of been avoiding some of
I've only seen a couple things.
footage. There's been some footage released, isn't there?
Yeah, I haven't seen the footage. I've seen some images, and that's it. But I haven't seen Michael Keaton yet. I've only seen Winona Ryder.
That's what was leaked.
Yeah.
The Michael
Oh, I
Keaton
haven't seen
stuff,
that
so.
yet.
Yeah, so I can't really answer your question there, mate. I've just been blinkering it. I've not been bothered to look on purpose. I don't really want to.
Cool.
So yeah, I've not even watched the trailer for The Boys season 4 yet on purpose. I've left.
I don't want to
wanna just
be.
watch it drop.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but like 9 times out of 10, these revival sequels are not very good. Usually, for every Top Gun 2 and Ghostbusters Afterlife, I mean, how many of the other ones do we get
Tim Burton
usually?
working on it, isn't it?
What?
It is
Yeah, Tim Burton directed it. Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that,
they
that
just-
gives it quite a lot of credence.
What's
then.
funny is they only had a day and a half of shooting left to finish.
Oh, yeah.
So they've probably been editing this damn thing through the whole strike. But yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it might actually turn out to be good. I don't know. I mean, does Tim Burton still have the magic? Does Michael Keaton still have it in him?
I think Tim Burton does for sure. I think we can see that because some of the stuff that he's on as a producer, and
I think Keaton proved he still had his chops in.
I'd say I have more faith in Keaton than I do with Tim Burton. Tim Burton hasn't been the same since Planet of the Apes.
Well, yeah,
everyone loves a comeback though. Maybe this will be his comeback.
Could be.
he needs it, but gosh, at a certain point in time, you just lose your mojo. You know.
Well, that's Ridley Scott, mate. But
Well, and there's this thing with the directors. I'll keep this as quick as possible.
okay.
It always seems like they have this quick change in their life, right? It always seems to be around a movie that generally is very personal to them. Tim Burton did Big Fish right after Planet of the Apes, and ever since then, he just hasn't quite been the same. You go back in almost every director's career, and you'll find that one movie that just seems to just kind of, from that moment on, they're not the same guy. Steven Spielberg with Schindler's List, right? You just find that movie that, even if it's a hit, it doesn't matter. But what's even worse is when it's not a hit, because then that really destroys the director, because they're just like, from then on, they really just kind of sign on to shit just to
you know
pay
what my theory
bills.
is on that, Tom? You know what my theory is on that? It's that the director got to make the passion project that he'd been working so hard to do, and once he's done it, then his drive to make the next great movie, so somebody will let him make the film he wants to make,
You're probably right.
is gone.
And like I said,
Right.
it's even
Sure.
worse for those when they fail, because then they just sign on to whatever after that because they feel like a failure. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think because of his performance, Burton's performance with Wednesday, which again is a television show, it's different medium.
Maybe.
But I think maybe I have faith in him. So I'm looking forward to it. If it's doo-doo, I will tell you it's doo-doo in a review. I promise.
I'm kind of looking forward to this. One's got me kind of interested. I will say that. I'm just trying to keep my expectations low.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
That's smart.
And to be honest, I feel more comfortable with him doing the sequel to this than some other person,
true.
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be like I don't know, the latest Ghostbusters Afterlife, not related to the original director,
Mhm.
etc. It's kind of similar, I guess.
Yeah.
But let's shuffle on. So Dark Side Droid sent in $10, says, imagine being a Disney shareholder.
Ugh.
Disney makes empty promises, tries to convince shareholders DEI is the future of society, and they pretend Bobby Iggy is going to show up and save the day. Love that. And following on from that as well,
It's
we've
more
got
like
this here
Baba Yogi.
from Accent Seller, sent him Bob Iger, more like Bombed Iger. Brilliant.
Oh,
And another one says, breaking news, streamer Mr. H was spotted using a Lucky Jasper avatar in his latest stream. Could this be signs of a future channel content focused on Jasper? We'll follow this story as it develops. So it is not.
Like you got
It's
time to do
actually,
a Jasper channel.
no, yeah, I don't have time. So it's actually, this was commissioned. I commissioned
Aw.
this. This was for a t-shirt. Lucky Jasper. This was Jasper as a as
It
one of these
sounds
little Japanese cats.
For some
Basically,
reason,
that's
now
what
I
it's
see
supposed
like
to be.
an animated cartoon though for
I
Jasper now.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah, like
the
Lucky
original-
Jasper. Yeah.
or I see this as like a NFT project here.
No, God, no. So that's what it was, guys. It was a t-shirt design. I haven't had a chance to release it, but I just chucked it up as an avatar. So just as an FYI, the merch is being completely reworked and will be imminently ready. No specific date, but you know, hold on to your britches because you'll be able to buy new britches. Probably not, but you'll be able to get some great designs, guys, at a very reasonable price. I have not promoted my merch in a very long time, probably a year and a half, 2 years, because Teespring, excuse the language, is fucking wank.
Yeah.
And prices they put on there are insane. The margins, like, to bring the price down, I mean, I can't even have the prices as I used to have them. They force me to put them up, so
Yeah.
I don't promote it. The store is going to be completely wiped and just closed down. That's the reason why I don't promote any of the actual merch designs anymore.
We
So it's
left
just
these
as a
things and went
so it's
somewhere
just
else.
as a quick aside, guys. Like, merch will be coming back, and it will be coming back in a really good way. Like, good website, good merch, good prices, similar designs, some new ones added, but it'll be coming back. So yeah, I will be promoting it again at some point, by the way. So that Lucky Jasper, that's what that was. And it's a design I never got to sell, which was a real shame because people love Jasper. And yeah, I just never got to sell it, which is a real pain in the ass. But anyway, shuffling on, we've got one more super chat here from Jason Webster, sent in $5 dues. Says the Marvels 2023 has incurred a loss of $259.4 million for Disney Marvel. I think it might be more.
I think it's more. Jason, I think one of the things we are missing here in the equation is that Companies House only updates what things are reported so often. They require them to be reported to them, and then it's reflected. The last time we got an update on what the production budget was, less the tax incentives that the lovely UK government provides to make failed films for Disney. I think that's very interesting. But that production at that point was 274.8 million. And so we suspect, because of the 6 weeks of reshoots that the film went into after that production budget had been reported, was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 million, because you have the actual reshoot themselves and then the CGIing of everything and all of that. So I fully expect at least another $100 million there, which will put it, which will put it in a completely different ballpark. I believe at this point in time, I was incorrect, and that this film is even farther in the hole than I thought. So
Yeah. Well, we'll be. Yeah, I'm sure it's something we'll report on, to be honest. And one more, just sneaking in real here, is from Larry Quadowitz. Been a member for 28 months. Incredible length of time being a member. It says, definitely psyched for the new merch. Some of my favorite shirts are H shirts. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we may even be able to get some stuff specific to the Hcast, like an Hcast line, like dumb shit that Gray said. That might be a fun t-shirt. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I think we're gonna have to do it, and it'll be the greatest thing that you ever saw. All right.
No.
Just saying it. It'll be the greatest thing you ever saw. Grace's dumb fucking face on a t-shirt. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it anyway. You heard it here first. Added sound effects not included. All right, you got to do it yourself. I think I'm joking. I'm not. All right, we'll do it a t-shirt. Anyway, ladies and gents, let's shuffle on to our next topic because we're back. We're cruising on here. Let's go. So, we covered last week's Doctor Who. It's back again. Doctor Who ratings drop with Wild Blue Yonder. This is a new David Tennant low. Right now, the numbers have gone up since this episode. Okay, obviously they have. We're talking about like for like live numbers, people watching it live. These are the worst for David Tennant's Doctor. Now, they're bad. They're worse than the last special that dropped as well. So it's a 5% drop. It's like 250 odd thousand or something like that. So there's had the Star Beast last week's special episode had 5.8 million viewers, 5.08. This one had 4.83 million viewers. And that, it's a 5% drop. People are checking out. People are having enough. People are tuning out from it. They're not interested anymore. And the thing about this episode, which like lots of people are sort of honing in on Doctor Who, they made him gay in this episode, right? So he makes first part of the episode, they do something with the TARDIS, they go back in time, and they see Isaac Newton, and the Doctor and Donna make some weird comments about, is it just me, or was Isaac Newton kind of hot? And then there's some interplay between the two, but the implication is that the Doctor's, he likes a bit of the P. A bit of the PD, penis and dick. Anyway, and so people are honing in on that. Sure, accept that. I'm more honing in on the fact that they made Isaac Newton a fucking Indian for no reason. Why? And just to throw it out there, when I made my video on the main channel about this, people were like, "You're honing in on a joke." So they made him Indian where's the punchline? Where's the punchline so they ethnically swapped Isaac Newton for
the punchline is below the belt.
This is Isaac Newton now. Back in was it like 16?
Not only that, I don't remember Newton being considered like a good-looking dude or anything either. But okay.
No, look at him.
Yeah, he's like a doofy-looking guy. And in these paintings, they usually doctored him up, like paint shop before paint shop.
And then apparently as well, they use pronouns in this one as well. So Donna questions the gender of an alien about pronouns. So just everything in this episode humanly possible. What do we think?
I literally think that they are trying to just destroy this property entirely, and they're doing it with Disney's money. So I can't. You can't do this. You can't do this in good faith. You can't.
I love the people defending the ethnic swapping of Isaac Newton, because there was a recent thing in the UK, and I'm fairly certain it's like this oak tree fell down in the UK. I could be talking absolutely out my bumhole here, but I'm pretty certain I'm right. It was like there was this oak tree was cut down, and it was thought to be the tree that Isaac Newton or apple tree or whatever, and it was thought to be one of the trees that he was, messing around with, and you grew up as a child. It said massive outcry about it, huge fucking outcry. It was all in the bloody papers, on the news, literally round the clock. Bloody talking about this shit on the news, and it's just a tree that's been cut down. Look, granted, trees don't cut them down that much, but that's a massive. And then they're like, well, that's fine, but we'll still change. That's a massive issue, but we'll just swap him out as an Indian now. Like, what? Where's your priorities? It's just so bizarre. And also, look, at the end of the day, I take great umbrage to people, having their ethnicity swapped, when by and large children are absolute mega morons. And I've said this before on this podcast, they watch these things, and they actually get their, they believe this stuff. They believe that Cleopatra was black. There are so many absolute tards out there that believe Cleopatra was black.
Well,
Greek Macedonian, though. And now there'll be people that will think Isaac Newton was a bloody Indian.
Well, I was going to say,
I want to see Martin Luther King swapped out for a bloody Chinese chap then.
Well, you got enough issues with the biopics when they get stuff, way off. And that's why I don't often bitch too often when somebody says, well, I don't agree with how they did it because this isn't the way it was. Even if it's just a minute thing, it's because history is going to remember it that way because now it's a movie. It's like they're not going to remember the other shit. They're just going to remember the movie. So, but yeah.
But people are
I agree.
They must be. Disney can't think that this was a good deal for them, surely.
All they care about is DEI.
Well, certainly.
So much so that even in their 10K, they acknowledged they knew what the problem was and didn't care to fix it. So.
Oh my God! Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Very true. Well, anyway,
wait a second.
What's the predictions for the next one? Because apparently they were making the Doctor gay in this, and again, like, people are honing in on that. That's fine. My focus is just the fact that they made Isaac Newton an Indian because it's just stupid, absolutely moronic. But apparently, that people are saying that the setup for making him gay is that because obviously Nkuti Gatwa
make him gay,
is going to be an out gay doctor.
Is he going to be non-brand fairy or whatever it is?
No, he's I'm gay.
Oh, okay.
I'm certain. I'm pretty certain. I could be wrong.
Well, but the white guy.
Does the Doctor tend to have a lot of sex? I'm asking seriously because I'm not a big fan of the show or anything like that.
No, but he did fancy Rose though. In all iterations, the Doctor fancied Rose and actually married Rose in certain universes. Rose is a woman,
but this recent Doctor just beat him to gay. So getting the cooties to be the gay doctor is going to be the second gay doctor.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. So Nkuti Gatwa is not going to be the first openly gay doctor.
No.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Russell T Davies, mate. What have you done?
Oh no. The glass ceiling isn't broken by, enough check boxes.
Oh, we can do that when they release the inevitable headlines.
Yes.
First episode with the first openly gay doctor will go. That's wrong.
Nah.
That's wrong. Oh, think of all of the Twitter community notes.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be fun. Brilliant. Man, PBC came out and praised the freaking GTA 6 game we talked about at the beginning of the stream.
I still haven't seen that trailer yet.
BBC, your news folks, your state media. Yeah. Well, they're also going to be getting just called on the carpet for this too. I can't wait. It's going to be a party.
Good.
Yeah.
Right. And anyway, let's shuffle on from that. Unless anyone's got anything else to say.
I just noticed.
You didn't say anything.
I just noticed that Culture got his haircut.
I did not notice that either.
I just noticed it like just now.
Culture, I'm not going to lie.
Little Lord Fauntleroy.
Can you grow it back, please?
I will.
Or trim the beard up to match the hair.
Okay. All right.
No, don't do that.
Well, I assure you, I have at least
No.
one more. I have at least one more donation cycle in me, and yeah, sorry.
One
I've
more
been-
what? Donation?
Yeah, I donate my hair for making wigs so that for
Oh,
people
that's
who
good.
have cancer. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
I do.
no, that's great.
I have one more cycle to go through at a minimum to, basically reflect how many times I've done it in reference to the number of people in my family that have had cancer. So,
That's good.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's really, really good. Well, good for you, dude.
Yeah.
Right, let's get to some of these super chats real quick. So Olaf Van S for €6 says, I bet they made Tenants.gay to transition him to Nkuti Gatwa, playing the next gay doctor, I guess.
Oh, no.
Actor plays a gay guy in Sex Education too, because he's gay. So he's not acting, he's just being himself, which is not fucking acting.
I'm so glad that actors get to be themselves more often now.
Yeah, really.
Belligerent assholes. Narcissistic ego assholes.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. Or that should be the joke. I should say it the other way around. Yeah.
Jason Webster sent in $5 says Godzilla -1 is the second highest grossing opening for a foreign language live action film in US history.
Yeah. I mean, it has a ways to go.
One?
I think is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
That's the highest grossing one too.
Yeah.
Now as far as like highest grossing non-English speaking film, I believe that's still Passion of the Christ.
Yes.
But I'd have to double check.
I can believe that. Right. Oh, okay. Topics. We've got two topic two. What one do we choose? A or B?
Nate's getting tired or his back's hurting.
I'm getting tired. I'm definitely getting tired. A or B culture? A or B?
Oh shoot, I'll have to look.
No, there's no A or B. They're in my head. I know what A and B is.
Oh, all right then. A. I feel like a trial.
All I know is that I'm very proud of the thumbnail I just made. Oh Lord.
Right, so Jonathan Majors' trial is going on. Now, there was a little bit of an update today, but not a massive one. They took, Grace Jabari took the stand. Apparently, it was all waterworks, etc. We'll have a bit more of an update on that moving forwards. It's not televised like the other one was, Johnny Depp and things like that. It's not as high profile. And so we're going to get in dribs and drabs of information. And Variety did a pretty good sort of rehash of everything that's happened up to date from yesterday. And so I thought we would cover it because we've spoken about this during, the podcast, and I think it's important just to cover it here and there. And, you guys obviously find it interesting as well, I'm sure. It's just interesting stuff. Now, I'll say from the off, if he is found guilty and he did these things, that's awful. Not because he's found guilty, but because obviously men striking women shouldn't do it. Control yourself. Most men, generally speaking, could kill a woman instantly. It's really not that difficult. We are physically much larger. Don't beat women. Goes without saying. However,
you got to defend yourself.
Yeah, different.
Yeah.
Different. However, it's equally as bad if this woman has made false accusations. She is a see you next Tuesday. She's an awful person, and there's no winners in this scenario because whoever's found to be innocent or guilty, etc., all of it's a loser. There's literally no winners here. Like, it's all pretty awful.
It is.
If she's found to be a liar, he's had his name torn through the mud for nothing. And if she's found to be telling the truth, then he's a woman beater, and that's awful. There's no winners here. It's all pretty awful stuff, quite frankly.
Well, and the problem we have is right in the headline there, because these are the same lawyers that claim that this girlfriend was going to exonerate him. Remember that?
Yeah. It's all pretty bad.
His lawyers are probably the worst problem here right now, if you ask me. But yeah, let's get into
They
this.
are.
Because they leave a lot in this too. I've read this yesterday.
Say that again.
I feel like they leave a lot out of here, but I read this yesterday, but we'll get into it here.
Oh, what else did you see then? Is there a better one? Because
I just feel like this is very it doesn't bring up the fact that there was the previous altercation that might be brought up in the trial, I don't think, and some other things that I think were.
Okay, yeah. So they're kind of broad stroking it. It's important to note the first few days of the trial was trying to get documents unsealed, right? It was trying to get documents unsealed and altercations, etc. So that's part of all of that. And then it's important to note that the DA has dropped a bunch of stuff. So, and I don't know whether this is 100% up to date, whether they've only dropped one charge against Jonathan Majors.
Well, and the way they
or they've
also
dropped any
present,
more.
yeah, they also don't present properly how she was brought back into the country either. That's another thing I felt that was kind of
Well, yeah,
waxed
well, she was
over.
brought into the country. Well, she was apparently back already in the country.
She
But they
was
offered to
brought,
bring her back into the country.
I don't know exactly how it worked out, but that was the whole thing, is they were going to bring her back in. The whole arrest, from my understanding, was just a procedural thing, just to get it off the
It was
books
a
or whatever.
formality.
A
Yeah.
formality, yeah. And the way they don't really get into that here either. That's just what I'm saying. There's just a few details I feel like they left out that were a
Yeah.
bit more balanced, but yeah.
No, that's fair enough. So I'd actually done videos on all of that anyway, as they sort of happen. But just surrounding this anyway, what's happened? March 25th, alleged domestic assault. So the actor's pleaded not guilty, faces 3 charges because one's been dropped. So misdemeanor assault, aggravated harassment, and harassment. Strangulation has been dropped. He faces up to a year in jail if he's convicted. Now, we'll get to some bits here because they kind of look good and bad. So prosecutor Michael Perez began by offering details on the events that led to Majors' arrest on March 25th. Majors and Jabari took a private car after midnight from a Brooklyn party to their Chelsea apartment. The prosecutor said the couple, who met in 2021 on the set of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, had been together for 2 years and had discussed marriage and kids. This was a serious relationship, Perez told jurors. On the night of the incident, Jabari saw a text message on Major's phone from a woman named Cleopatra that read, "Wish I was kissing you right now." Jabari allegedly took the phone out of his hands to see who sent the message. Perez asserted that Majors then began grabbing the right side of Jabari's body and prying his finger off, her finger, off the phone to retrieve it. The prosecutor said this caused bruising, swelling, substantial pain. He intended to cause Jabari physical injury, and in fact, he did cause her physical injury. So Majors does not deny that a text message from another woman sparked the alleged altercation, but Majors' criminal defense lawyer Priya Chowdhury alleges that it was Jabari who assaulted Majors, ripping 2 buttons off his coat and tearing the pocket with her bare hands. And that's not exactly difficult to do. I don't understand why they highlighted.
Just overlooked the fact that she went to the hospital from broken.
Yeah. And not the other way around. After they parted ways that night, Jabari ran into 3 strangers on the street who invited her to go to a club. She went to block out the experience, Perez, the prosecutor, told jurors. It's good that they're not denying that. Meanwhile, Majors had checked into a hotel room and ended their relationship through a text message. So what happened now? Jabari later returned to Majors' apartment and called him multiple times, 32, in fact. I don't think that's... I mean, she's drunk and stuff. It's pretty normal, I guess, in that kind of situation. High tense, etc. According to Chowdhury, before taking 2 sleeping pills, he went back to the Chelsea residence the following morning, where he allegedly found Jabari on the floor of the closet. Chowdhury told jurors that Majors called the police out of concern for Jabari's mental state because she was unconscious and had, in text messages, threatened deleting herself. Jabari was initially hesitant, but eventually told officers that she had sustained injuries from Majors, who was subsequently arrested. She was taken to hospital to receive treatment for wounds. So months later, Jabari was then arrested, but we know why. It was a formality. She had it was an arrest card, not an arrest warrant or something like that. So that's important to note. From here, Judge Michael Gaffey ruled on Thursday the defense can bring up Jabari's arrest during the trial, but that still won't go that far, I don't think. So here's the stuff that's interesting. The trial, which is expected to last 2 weeks, will include testimony from Jabari. Part of that was today. And potentially the driver of the private vehicle where the alleged altercation took place. They came out publicly and said he's willing to testify. We've got video footage from it. But now it's only potentially the driver? That's bad. Yeah, that looks...
Their story has changed so many fucking times now. That's the problem here, beyond all the other problems piled onto this. That's what I was saying earlier. He has one of the worst defenses in the fucking world. Like,
yeah. Insane, absolutely insane.
They like claim they have all this
So-
shit. It's like, well, we can't show you, but I have seen it. And as soon as I was done watching it, the
Believe
tape
me.
went and blew up. Some just sudden destruction happened,
It's
and
some
you can't
opera
see it, but
type
just
shit.
believe me, it happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Trust me.
This tape will self-destruct, Mr.
Right
Phelps.
after you watch it.
So there's a medical professional that's going to testify as well, and 3 strangers that Jabari met on the street.
Wow.
So, and then they say this. So, apparently there was a honeymoon period. After that, things began to go sour. The defendant's true self began to show. He began to snap, manipulate, and strategically withhold affection from Jabari, control her actions in the past, according to Perez. This affected their entire relationship and how she reacted on March 25th. But Chowdhury's like, their history's got nothing to do with what happened in the car. Of course it does. That's just how humans work. Obviously, dumbass. Yeah, and then they're going from the perspective of this has ruined his entire life, and she's just trying to make a name for herself.
She is.
And I see Culture U have sent something
and updated in the last 2 hours timeline of everything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's have a look at this.
Yeah, she testified today.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors accuser recounts relationship and testimony. I felt scared of him, but quite dependent on him. Typical, if true, that is typical abuser tactics.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and this is where not being televised might hurt his chances more than help. Because if we could see if this chick was like an Amber Heard,
Crazy.
it might help his case.
yeah, true. So
But-
apparently Jabari was a movement coach on Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
And she's
So
a
after-
dancer. She was in Barbie.
Yeah.
She's been in a couple other movies too. Yeah.
So after their first date, they rarely spent time apart. Jabari said he was really kind and loving. He told me he loved me very early on, which was overwhelming, but I loved it and I loved him. He wrote me poetry. I felt very loved and cared for and seen. However, as early as 2021, he had verbally berated her for bringing up an ex-boyfriend. She shared of an incident in July 2022 when the actor preparing for his role in magazine Dreams flew into a rage, shouting and throwing glass. She took a picture of the broken glass at the time, which was shown to the jury, according to Rolling Stone, because the shift in his temper was something I was aware of. I know I kept forgiving him, and I wanted to make a memory of the incident. Jabari further described Major's aggression when she went to the Glastonbury Festival with friends and lost service. And when she brought a friend home after drinking at a pub. In both instances, Jabari says she was made to feel like she was at fault. He rarely said sorry for these episodes, she claimed, and felt she had to manage his moods. In the latter instance, Jabari recorded some of the ranting in which he demanded she be more like Michelle Obama and Coretta Scott King. The audio referenced in the prosecution's opening arguments was played for the jury. I'm a great man, a great man. I do great things for my culture and for the world. The woman that supports me needs to be a great woman. Right. And Jabari's behavior took away from the plan, and the plan is evident.
Ooh.
This is audio of him talking to her.
Yes.
That is
Wow.
some God complex shit.
Yeah. So this is like the reversal of the Johnny Depp situation. It sounds like. Yeah.
Oh, there's more. There is more. Yeah. So I felt like I had to keep a lot of secrets from everyone. I felt very isolated. It was confusing. I felt scared of him, but quite dependent on him. He said that he was a monster and wanted to kill him and off himself and had actions in place to do so. I pleaded with him so that he wouldn't do that. He would say, it's in place, it's in motion. I'd say, you can't do that. What about your mother? What about your daughter? I would intend to make him feel safe and loved and secure, and he would receive that.
Sounds very narcissistic.
I felt like I was existing in this world emotionally and physically all these ways. I didn't
and
feel
she
my
sounds
autonomy. I had
very-
no self-esteem. I lost weight. I felt unconfident. I felt really dependent on him. He was the only one who knew what went on. I found it hard to see my family and friends. I felt like I was lying to them. Holy shit. If that is actual audio of him saying that, this guy's a fucking psycho.
Because honestly, the way she's talking here is I can see the progression, right? Like, because normally you'd be like, well, why don't you get the hell out of there, girlfriend? Well,
Yeah.
I can see where she's kind of building this, and it could be that she's got, the prosecution's just that good and helped her out with this, but I don't think they did. I don't think they've had the time. And that's what I'm saying. She sounds like she's very articulated, and she knows what she's saying and why she's saying it, and the important parts about it. And she's painting this picture of him as very, like you said, obsessive,
God complex.
egotistical,
I'm a great
God
man.
complex bullshit. Like, yeah, I mean,
I
granted,
do great things for my culture and for the
Wow.
world. You don't do any. You're lower level than a prostitute. Actors are low level. I've said this before, and I keep saying it because I genuinely believe it. Actors pretend to be other people for money. They're worse than prostitutes. They are low rung. I don't. They're nothing special for the world at all. If all actors died tomorrow, no one would care. They don't do anything for the world at all. Anyway, controversial.
Here's the thing. Our reaction to this in this testimony specifically, which is why I brought it up, is exactly what the comment section say everywhere else this testimony is being shown. Everywhere it's being reported. People are like, he's narcissistic. He's a megalomaniac. I mean, it's all that same commentary.
Well, not only that, there's something she's not doing. And that's what I noticed most of all. She's not doing what Amber Heard did. And that is make everything sound over dramatic. Yeah, most of all that, but over dramatic on top of it all.
Yeah.
Right? Like she hasn't even gotten any actual physical altercations yet. So we'll hold off a little bit on that until then. But just the little things that she's explaining are these little ramp ups in his behavior, as I said, to where you could see where somebody could kind of be, you kind of get to this point where basically you realize, holy shit, this guy has got me in this loop of basically abuse, for a lack of a better word.
It's a form of grooming, isn't it? Again, if this is all true, it's a form of grooming.
Yeah, for a lack of a better term, yeah.
And it is incumbent upon us and very important for us to say that, yes, these are alleged actions. Yes, this is the testimony that is outlining the alleged actions.
Nor would I say anything that she said so far would actually constitute any sort of actual abuse. I should say more of a mental abuse than anything at this point. But yes,
I just people not liking my actor prostitute comment. No offense.
It's kind of true. I mean, really. I mean,
no offense. I just think ultimately you don't do anything good for society.
No, actors do have this egotistical thing about them.
Yeah,
where they think they're much more important than they really are. That they're doing some great thing for what they're doing. Like, no, you're not.
I had a friend that
you're not curing cancer here.
I had a friend that went in and was doing a lot of acting stuff and got on a lot of like commercials and stuff like that, and he was like that, like big time. And I was like, dude, you're doing like commercials and stuff. You're
if more actors could be like Keanu Reeves, this world would be a better place.
Oh yeah,
I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
or an actor now, but Ricky Gervais, he's just donated £1.9 million to animal charities. Pretty bloody good dude, constantly doing stuff for animals, for dog shelters, all this kind of stuff. Just a normal guy that just takes piss out of people. Good times. My kind of chap. I like that. So yeah, what do you say about all of that then, really? What do you say about that?
It hasn't really changed my opinion that much. I mean, I was almost kind of prepared to go, okay, maybe this chick is just trying to pull an Amber Heard here. But like I said, there's a lot more in what she's not doing right now than compared to what Amber was doing. Because Amber was putting on a show. She was displaying all this thing. Everything was so dramatic. She got beat to hell so many times by Johnny. You can't believe she's still alive. Right?
Yeah,
in this, it's very focused.
Broken glass in her vagina. Piss off.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in this, it's very focused. There's specific events. And I'm not even sure if we've heard about the other event that they're trying to get into the case yet. And that would have been the one that took place during Ant-Man shooting or whatever. Or Loki 2. This one happened during Loki season 2. The other one happened during Ant-Man. So there's that other incident so far we haven't heard anything about. We have absolutely no details on yet. So I'm curious what we find out about that from the police report, if there is one, and what she says and everything like that, and compared to his story and his defense. Because his defense, if I was him, look, if he's innocent right now, I would fire these attorneys and get somebody new.
Yeah.
I would dig up Johnny Cochran if I could. Because right now, these guys are not helping his case whatsoever. They have changed the story so many times.
Yeah.
Have claimed to have so many exonerating things like, for his favor. I mean, and we're not even getting into the point where he has not had any support from anybody in Hollywood whatsoever. Even Disney has stayed silent.
Well, and here's the other thing. He's got other actors that have come out and said some really harsh stuff about him. Very much.
There was other people.
That's what I mean. He has not had not one single person come out in his defense.
Mm.
Man, crazy stuff. Whew.
Oh dear. What do you say to that?
I mean, Johnny, people couldn't couldn't come out of the woodwork fast enough to go, wait a minute, hold up, bitch. Like,
even the public eye again. She's like, no, I hate the public eye, but yeah, I'll come to do this. Why not?
Yeah.
It's weird, right? Because I mean, those are ex-girlfriends coming out saying, no.
Normally ex-girlfriends couldn't wait to talk smack about someone.
Right?
I'd be like, no, fuck that guy.
And the picture they're trying to paint here in that article we just read of her, because that was all from her attorney, remember? I'm not seeing that here in this. Now, again, I might feel differently if I see her actual physical speaking and the way they got presented here, though. This is where I said it. I don't know. Maybe this is why he didn't want it televised, or I don't know how that happens with criminal trials like this, because I know the O.J. Simpson trial was a criminal trial, so they were able to televise that. So I'm not sure how that works. But
well, this is a criminal trial.
I think it's like how important it is to the public, I guess.
Well, I can't believe like Court TV isn't covering this or something.
Yeah,
I
Disney
think
probably paid him not to.
That's what I'm wondering.
And I think Priya Chowdhury, who's the attorney here, has had success in defending. That's her name, Priya.
No, you said Chia. I just thought it was funny.
Chia.
Priya Chowdhury. She is.
Seeds.
Yeah, she's had success in defending people who were in trouble before.
Oh,
Well, if that's the case, then maybe he's in a lot worse shape than we thought. I don't know.
Did I actually say that?
I don't know.
Mm.
I'll just say you did because it's funny.
Okay.
Be interesting to see how this pans out. That's for sure.
None of it looks good. None of it looks good. It doesn't look good for him. If this,
I got to imagine the law tubers are going to cover this stuff, though.
I hope so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure. Nick Ricato will probably be all over it.
Yeah,
as well as several others.
Right. Well, guys, real quick. Not that one. Hold on. Real quick. I clicked the wrong intro.
So is that not the right one?
No, that was the right one, but there was a brief
second. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, we didn't notice. We didn't notice. We not said nothing.
Yeah, it didn't leak through.
So, look, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire trailer dropped. Loads of people hate it. Let me just set this up. I'm actually quite excited for it. Let me explain why. Godzilla has always had a duality between serious and silly. I mean, there's so many silly iterations of Japanese Godzilla. So many silly ones. And we're getting the serious ones. Godzilla -1. Now, if we didn't have Godzilla -1, would I look at this and be very disappointed? Yes, I actually think so. But in the same, time span-ish, we're getting two sides of Godzilla. Silly, a little bit more sort of bombastic and silly and stuff like that. And then we're getting the very serious. So I can appreciate this as a good example of two sides of Godzilla, I guess, in the same time span. So I don't hate it. And
try harder.
When I got the leaks, because I know everything that happens in this movie, my video got taken down by Legendary. But when I got the leaks, I did say I think this looks like dog shit or sounds like dog shit. But in played out, it looks a bit fun. What did you guys think of the trailer?
I was kind of indifferent on it.
That's amazing.
That's my thumb for tonight. I'm very proud of that. Thank you very much.
Love it.
And I think if we could get Nick Cage in this movie,
It would be
make
better.
infinitely better.
Yeah,
Indeed.
I
Doing
agree.
the voice of Godzilla.
I agree.
Sorry, I had to show that off. I was very proud of
That's fine, I
that.
like
It's
it.
a nice
What do we
thumbnail,
think?
man.
But yeah, I was kind of indifferent on it. There was like aspects of it. I was like, oh, this looks kind of interesting. And then other aspects of it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, face palming moments. So I didn't get this from the trailer. I got this from seeing everybody else's comments. So I guess this is like a team up thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Marvels in the
You
Godzilla.
didn't get it from them running at the end
No.
together?
No, I thought he was
Really?
chasing them. I thought he was
Oh,
chasing
okay.
them.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
To me, it looks like Chariots of Fire. So
I don't care. Give me more of this injected into my veins.
Yeah, like the only thing Kong's missing is the Infinity Stones here on his right hand, and then that would possibly make it better.
oh,
There's one thing I love more than Godzilla. King Kong.
Yeah.
well, I mean, at least they're making it diverse. Godzilla, pink Godzilla,
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
fun.
No, is that they've made Godzilla pink. They've had a pinky Godzilla in the past as well.
Well, hey, this is very pink. I mean, who's the boy and who's the girl in this relationship?
And Godzilla looks fat again in this.
Actually, it looks more slim, I thought.
Really?
Especially in the running scene.
The CGI is hot garbage.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I'm not
bad.
going to look. This is for kids, guys. Look.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's not.
It is
That right there
absolutely-
actually looks pretty good.
Kids don't deserve good CGI.
This is
That
good
looks pretty
CGI.
good.
This is bad. This is great. The only place where the CGI looks wonky is when they're running, because
Yeah, I'll give you that.
you running like that, it looks weird.
I don't know. There's a leaping moment where Kong looks ridiculous. The previous model of Kong was okay. This one is just
Here,
He's a little older,
so he's a little slower.
a little slower.
A little slower.
He's getting gray hair. You see that?
I got a question, just off topic, but if you show these same trailers off of Twitter, does the algorithm like not hit you for that? But if you show it on YouTube, it will.
No, I think it's the same because they all have the same. The algorithm tracks them the same way. It's just like an AI that looks for.
yeah, it's just picking it up.
Because I see a lot of people that seem to get away with showing a lot of this stuff, but they always go to Twitter and play the video from there.
No,
it's
Warner
not.
Brothers will sometimes drop it, but 9 times out of 10 they won't.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to show because it's just
Yeah.
we're just talking about it. It's not a trailer
And,
reaction.
and there is no upside to showing it.
Yeah.
Not really. Look, we get it.
Nice.
You're not into it culture, but you know what? This
I
is
love
not
Godzilla.
replacing the other Godzilla. That's the thing.
I love
Right.
Godzilla and Kong, Tommy. You know that.
And this is the other reason why this exists. Look at this. These are still in full price. Full price. Godzilla versus Kong.
Wow.
Hell, I can even get a Shin Godzilla figure if I wanted to. Look at just endless.
Yeah, can you?
Look, endless. Look at all this shit you can still get. None of this is on clearance either. This is all still full priced.
I've got that burning Godzilla. It's on my
Yeah.
shelf.
There you go. See, $44.99 still.
That one would work for me.
Look at Mecha here.
Oh,
What's
I love
this?
Mecha Godzilla. I thought
Destroy all Godzilla round 1 box. set.
Sorry, culture. You like Mecha Godzilla, but you don't like this.
I thought we
It's
were
too
going to
silly
get.
for you, is it, mate?
I thought we were going to get Mecha Godzilla in this movie.
Oh shit! I might have to get this box set.
Ripped apart.
I want to see the
watched
Transformers
the last
team up
one?
with Kong
I like
and
Mecha
Godzilla.
Godzilla.
Did you watch the last one?
Yeah, I
yeah.
did.
What happened to Mecha Godzilla, mate?
Well, it wasn't.
These just
good.
keep going, man. Like there's a whole lot more here.
You guys are bumming me out.
You're bumming us out, hating bloody.
No, here's my problem with it. Is like if you don't like it, that's cool. I just don't understand these people who are reacting like this is going to replace Godzilla. So it's like, no.
All those people acting like Godzilla's never been silly, because that is important.
Oh,
to
that
know.
too. Like to me, that's what this is, and that's why I don't mind it so much. And I've had to kind of, and they kind of learn their way through these. Like you look at 2014 Godzilla compared to Godzilla versus Kong, and you can clearly see, oh, we learned a lesson here. We got to shift this more towards the kids.
As long as Millie Bobby Brown isn't in this, I will be happy.
Not in the
She is,
trailer
though.
at
We've
all.
told her. She's not in the trailer. That's true.
Please don't be in
So
this.
she won't be a focus, that's for sure.
Maybe she was busy filming something when they were making this.
Honestly, I just think it looks. If we weren't getting Godzilla -1, I would be a bit dismayed with it.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I mean, this is the two sides of the Godzilla coin. We're getting the wacky and the serious.
That's what I've been saying too, Nate. Is like we have never had a time in history where we've had this much Godzilla stuff at once. I said the closest you can come to it is when we still had Toho making the films. I think it was in the late 60s, and they had the Hanna-Barbera cartoon at the same time. That's probably the closest you can come to it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Wait, stream
Yeah,
died. What?
Stream died. What?
I'm checking. Hang on.
Did they pull us down just because you managed to show 3 seconds of the freaking trailer or something?
What?
No, I don't think they did. I think it just somebody else.
Good. Okay.
Oh no, some people are getting a streaming buffer wheel thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, which says I'm still going. That's annoying.
Yeah. All right.
Guys, can you hear us or not? Let us know those ones that can.
Give us ones.
People saying we're back.
Yeah, I think we're good.
No idea what that was. Nice.
Buffering.
No,
If you have,
Did we die? Back. Okay, we're back.
if you haven't hit the thumbs up button, do so because we need it.
That's very odd.
Yeah.
Very odd. Well, anyway,
like the viewer count went. That was crazy. All right.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. No one's going to hang around for a buffering stream. So thanks, YouTube, you bunch of wankers. Or StreamYard, whoever it was that did it. But anyway, guys, culture. What have you got going on, dude?
I dropped
your word real quick. 20 seconds or 10 seconds. Let's go.
I dropped 2 videos today. They're good. I dropped 2 videos yesterday. One of them including my hair donation video, so you can see me actually get my hair. Yeah, and then tonight check out Tom over on Midnight's Edge After Dark, and yeah,
I mean, he can do that.
I know, but I like to help.
Tom, what you got going on, real quick?
I got Midnight's Edge After Dark, as Culture just pointed out.
Cool.
Morning show tomorrow.
Cool. And Nick, real quick, what you got going on, dude?
Thursday night stream, and then Friday the premiere. Thursday night stream 7 Central. Friday premiere of the EBN cast from 2 to 3.
Oh, the
Central
EBN cast, eh? Oh.
Yep, already got the graphics and everything ready to go.
I see.
Yep,
Oh,
we're gonna have rotating guests in. If any one of you 3 want to be the first rotating guest this Friday and are available and free, let me know.
What time?
What time is
2 o'clock Central Time. So
in the UK.
So let's see. It's
That'd have been like 4 hours ago here.
Yeah, so it'd be almost 4 hours ago for you, Nate.
Yeah.
Oh, I might be able to do that actually, to be fair.
Yeah, and I can certainly be in one of those as well at some point.
So send me an invite. I might be able to get there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and I
even if I'm like a little bit late or something.
I didn't promote the huge guest I have on my Friday interview show after Friday Night Heights. I've got Brett Dasovic from Pop Culture Crisis and Tim Pool. So
there you go. Nice.
Yep.
Did you say
excellent stuff?
I did. Well, he's not going to be on there, but Brett Dasovic streams with Tim.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. So, guys, please do check out everyone's channels linked down below in the description box. Please do check out the second channel where these streams, this podcast, and all the clips from it go. Mistake Reviews live archives. We'll be back on Thursday at 7 p.m. UK time. Not quite sure what that is for you guys in the States.
1 o'clock Central.
There you go. 1 o'clock Central.
What? No,
it's not it.
No.
Yeah, this
7 p.m. UK time. You know it. Doesn't matter, guys. You know when we're streaming. But anyway, from me and everyone else, thank you so much. We will catch you on Thursday. So cheers. Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.